Did it go live? Hang on, wait. It's just taking that long to go live. Shit. I don't think
Not
they got
live.
all that gold. Hang on.
No, they probably didn't.
Hang on.
Oh.
Wait, we're going to do it again, Dave. We're not going to waste that. Hang on.
All right,
Let's make
all right.
sure it goes live here.
Oh, no. Now we're live.
Is it? Hang on. All right.
Now we're live. Yep.
Did it go live?
Yep,
Hang
we're
on.
live.
Wait, it's just taking
Sweet.
that long to go live. Shit. There we go. All right. No, there is no fucking reverb. It is us. We are good.
Yes.
Dave, do me a favor. Get us
Yeah.
started the right way.
All right. Welcome to the Horror Show YouTube channel. My name's Dave McRae, all the way from Toronto, Canada. That is Cecil Laird in Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we're talking some Freddy Krueger on the Horror YouTube Show channel. You know you love Freddy Krueger. Some Fred Krueger, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be looking at all the crazy stuff involving Freddy Krueger. Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. Everyone, go subscribe to the Horror YouTube Show channel.
Yes, subscribe to the Horror Show YouTube channel if you haven't already, you lazy sons of bitches. Hopefully that music went through. Did it go through?
It did. Yeah, it was actually good
Okay.
enough where it was drowning your voice out a little bit at the beginning. So
Oh, great, good.
You know,
Okay.
the auto muffle that YouTube likes to do, and all
Yes,
these
yes,
streaming
that's
or
right.
Zoom, everything like that. But
Yeah.
yes. Guys, I didn't have any intro music, so Dave stepped in, the consummate professional that he is. So welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird. This is Dave McRae joining me on an odyssey into the world of Freddy Krueger, of course.
And there I am, standing behind you in the background.
Indeed. How could I not have you on both streams at the same time? Both
That's
camera
kind of creepy.
angles.
I can see that my zipper's down there. That's good. That's a nice touch.
Shit, I didn't raise that.
No, I don't know. I can't tell.
You know what? Robert set this up ahead of time, so I can't. I don't know exactly what he's doing when I'm not around. So I think he might be in the chat, as a matter of fact.
Good night, everybody.
Oh no, I don't even know where my phone is. I can't check the chat. Shit, where's my phone?
I have the chat up, and Robert is in the chat.
Ah, there you go. Shit. I'm going to need to find my phone at some point. All right. Well, guys, what we are here to do today, the reason this stream is called Freddy Krueger Declassified is because in my watching of YouTubes and TikToks and all that good stuff, I've seen some clips pop up. And I've also seen people like, Paige, one of the Fred heads, sharing some things. You know, she's now much more focused on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which definitely check out that. She made the Fred heads documentary. I'm talking about Paige Troxel, and now she is making a new documentary. She actually announced that she's going to be making a Buffy the Vampire Slayer documentary about the fandom and how the show actually saved lives. And I think it's a really
cool.
fucking wonderful idea. So everyone keep your eye out for that as Paige develops it. But the reason I bring it up is because she shared some clips back in the day when she was more focused on the nightmare stuff, that I hadn't necessarily seen before. And so I went digging and I found some videos that I hadn't seen before, not only of Freddy, on film, but actually Robert in the Freddy makeup talking in his normal voice, which when we did our Q&A back at Mad Monster 2023, when we actually debuted Dylan's New Nightmare originally, the very first version of it, we got a little bit of, we didn't get backlash per se. There was some questions from a couple people saying, should we really be featuring Dave talking as Dave in the Freddy getup and everything? Is it busting the illusion, so to speak? And ultimately we were like, no, I mean, he's not going to be Freddy for the entire Q&A. That kind of defeats
People
the
know
purpose.
I'm actually not Freddy Krueger.
Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the situation there. And so I was interested to see an entire interview, two of them actually, where he's just talking as Robert in the Freddy makeup. And so I was like, I would love to not only watch this for the first time with a bunch of you guys, but I also found not only a compilation of all the deleted scenes from the films, which I don't even know if I've seen all the deleted scenes from the films. We can get to that eventually if we want to. That is the most optional of this stream. It just depends on how long it takes two of the most verbose dudes on the internet as they go through the other videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll watch a couple of those behind the scenes interviews with Robert. And then what I also wanted to do is there's a compilation of all Freddy Krueger appearances not in the films. So lots of cameos, and that video itself is like 40 minutes long. So we have a lot of material that I know I haven't seen all of, and I'm guessing a lot of you haven't seen all of either.
I know I've definitely seen interviews with him in the makeup and out of the makeup. And I know I've seen some crazy, silly things with Freddy, but I'll be curious to see how much of this I have seen and how much of it I haven't seen.
Yeah, forgive me if you've seen it all.
Maybe, but I doubt it.
All right, so to that end, I really do need to grab my phone. I think it must be downstairs, so I'm going to go run and grab it real quick.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
You know how to entertain an audience.
I'll look at the chat here.
Right
Joey Thomas is in the chat. Chad78 Live. Shot by Shot. Tyler Adams, Robert the Wolfman, of course, is here as well. Names, well, except for Robert, names I don't particularly recognize, which is interesting. Gory Tiger. I like that name, Gory Tiger. Savannah Christina Hefferon. Yeah, it should be a good show. Cecil invited me on. Well, we wanted to do this show probably about a month or so ago, but I've been busy with a lot of different things going on, and so we weren't able to jive or connect our schedules. But here we are. We were able to do it tonight, and of course I'm 3 hours ahead. Cecil's 3 hours behind me, so that's always a factor that you have to factor in when there is a time difference as well. So this should be interesting to kind of look at some old school Robert Englund Freddy footage of different stuff, because I mean there could be a bunch of things in here that I've never seen. I have seen some interviews with him, like I just said, in the makeup and out of the makeup in regards to Dream Warriors. There was that Japanese like MTV kind of show or whatever where he was dancing in his underwear or something. I don't know. There's that one. That's probably on
back,
the list.
baby.
He's back.
Sorry about that, everyone.
That's all right.
Like, let's admit it. I'm the best host on the internet. I mean, I
you
start the stream, I immediately leave.
No, 100%. There's nobody that compares to you. Like you are the shit. Like that's just the way it is. If anybody says otherwise, they can go suck an egg.
I misheard you. Did you say you're a piece of shit?
Well, that too. But no. I said you're the shit.
I wouldn't disagree. You know.
Oh yeah, it's all right.
All right, so I officially have access to the chat. I got to take off my glasses to be able to read it.
All right.
Because I'm a nearsighted or farsighted, one or the other. So, before we get started, Dave, how are you?
Doing good. How busy, but how are you? How are you?
Doing well. Got my
That's good.
Got some fingers in some pies, so to speak.
I hear you. Yeah, no, I've been obviously, the It's Me Billy stuff is in the rearview mirror now, and well, I mean, it is in the sense that the movie's out now. Now we're just sort of wrapping up all the remainder of the perks, and the only perks I think are left are I have to have some guests on with Tony on Two Dudes, our podcast, and then the Blu-rays, and that's it. And the Blu-rays are going to be being made very soon. So we'll get the Blu-rays out to people who picked up an It's Me Billy Chapter 2 Blu-ray over the summer, and then that's in the rearview mirror. And then I have this other film that I'm trying to get off the ground, which if you follow me on social media,
wait, let me see if I remember it.
About it.
I'm trying to see how sticky the title is, okay? Because I was thinking about this earlier today.
Okay.
The House on Port Robinson Road?
That's it.
Nice. Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Because that's the thing. I wanted to ask you, is that so you're very mood and atmosphere. I know you are going to stick out no matter what kind of film you make, but specifically when you go to this genre, I think you're gonna be very, very successful in what you do. My question is the title. Is that the final title? Do you think it appropriately gets across everything that you're going for when it comes to mood and atmosphere?
Yes, I think it does. I think, initially when I first, again, I mean, it's a project I began writing 20 something years ago. It's inspired by true events from my second year of college from November 2000. And for many, many, many years, the title of the story, of the script, was just Port Robinson Road. That was the actual name of the street where this house was. It's no longer there. It burned to the ground 23 years ago. But for many years, it was just Port Robinson Road. And when I finally went back to the script about 6 months ago, and finally was able to complete the screenplay, it dawned on me that Port Robinson Road wasn't working in the ways that I thought it should have, or in the ways that I thought it was going to for me. It needed something a bit extra.
Okay.
And so adding the house on Port Robinson Road immediately tells you, for me, that obviously there is a house involved, right? And where it is on Port Robinson Road. But because I haven't revealed a lot of information out there yet about the film and the story, and I'm playing it a bit close to the vest, it's understandable why some people might see that and go, I wonder what that's about. You know what I mean? That could be this, or it could be that. It could be a drama. It could be this. It could be, and there is a dramatic component to the piece. And so, for me, it was all about, there's a rhythm to the title as well. Sure. The house on Port Robinson Road. There's got a rhythmic rhythm to it. And, in the same veins of, the haunting of Hill House, or the this of that, a bump, bada bump, bump, bump.
Sure.
And so for me, because it's a personal piece as well, it's not a story, it's based on or inspired by true events. There's obviously it's a personal thing, and that's sort of why I decided to go with that title. And the house plays a central role, obviously, in the film. And Port Robinson Road is the street that it is on, and so it connects to the story very well. And it's a psychological, elevated horror drama, is what it is. So it's not a slasher movie, but it is a psychological horror film with a very strong philosophical component to it. And, I don't think it's quite something that's been done in this sort of way. And I don't mean that in a pretentious way. I mean, I just mean that in sort of the combining a couple of different genres to create this story is interesting. I'm very proud of it, actually. It's to have it completed is, after 20 years, people have asked me, why did it take so long to complete it? And I said, well, when I first began writing it in 2005, I was smart enough to know what it needed, but I wasn't yet wise enough to be able to implement it. Life had to happen first, and you had to go through love and loss, and, my parents have died, and, all these things, and you have to grow up, to become an adult. And I finally knew what the nucleus and the heart of the story is. Because when I sat down to finish it, I asked myself, well, what the hell is this really about? Yes, it's scary and spooky. We got this, but what is it about? You know what I mean? And that's how I was able to finally complete it. So, the house on Port Robinson Road.
So I've trapped you a little bit in one of my webs that I love to do every now and again. Just like
okay.
So I'm going to corner you with a request. If you had to utilize your talents as a voice actor,
yes,
and get across the mood and atmosphere and story of because let me be very honest with you. We've seen titles similar to this before, but it's all
Sure.
in the presentation, right? So
Correct.
The house on Port Robinson Road could be really fucking cool if it's in the delivery of the title at the end of the trailer. And so my question is, how would you deliver the title vocally in a trailer to get across the mood that you are going for with the house on Port Robinson Road? It's not too spoilery to ask you to do that, would it be?
No. It wouldn't be trailer voice.
Right.
It wouldn't be horror slasher. You know what I mean? Like real deep. It would just be
my arcade brain is going to the House of the Dead, from way back in the day.
No,
I know it's not what you're going for, but
it's
like
more,
that kind of thing, set the tone.
So I've been doing so over the last, and we'll get to Freddy, folks. Don't worry.
Yes.
We'll get to Freddy. There's people tuning out right now.
No, I think
Dave.
Everyone's interested in this. Look at it.
I'm glad they are, because it's an original horror film based on true events from my second year of college. It is it's involves the paranormal, and you're like, oh, paranormal based on true events, really? Yeah. And it's like I said, a psychological elevated horror drama. And so the script is done. It's about 107 pages, and I would say, over the last several months, obviously the script is done. I have a lookbook. We're building promotional material for our pitch, package and all that kind of stuff. And so I've written a lot of things down, but I would say that, let me just see if I can find something here that I could read to you, if you would humor me. Are you still there?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. Trust me, I'm listening.
Okay. If you could humor me,
yes, sir.
It would be something like, where's my, because I have been recording voiceover.
Get out of town, you.
For a few videos for my pitch package.
Okay, cool.
And so it's kind of a coincidence that you've, asked me about this, so I don't have to now.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. So, but I'm prepared, unknowingly, that you were going to ask me this.
I'll clip this so you can put it on your channel.
There you go. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would give spoilers away. But I can read.
It's just you and me here. No one else.
That's true.
No one else is listening. Just go for it.
That's a fair point. So here's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. No, but it's not Grindhouse. It's not the house on Port Robinson. It's not like that. It's not like that. I have a concept poster that I released a couple of months ago, I think it was. I've shared it a couple of times.
Do you want me to allow you to share screen to pull it up, or do you want me to pull it up?
Sure. Yeah, I can. If you want to.
Yeah. I just clicked multiple participants can share, so you should be able to share now.
Great. So let me just go and get it, and I will. Hang on a sec.
No worries.
I appreciate you allowing me to.
I hope you don't.
Hear this.
I hope you're not, offended by me just kind of going into this. I'm just very curious because I love and know what you can do as a filmmaker, and so I'm very curious. Someone today who was with me, Fuego was with me today. He's like, what? He actually asked. He's like, what is Dave working on now? Because I brought up this whole thing that I mentioned to you before the stream, which I guess I can talk about in just a second, but let's focus on your film first. And so Fuego asked, what is he working on? And so I was like, oh, it's his own film that he just finished because he needed to, he needed more lived experience. And so I'm very curious about it. And so I imagine I'm not the only one. And if I am, fuck him,
Fuck them. We'll do it live. No, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Well, and because it's a personal piece and there's not a lot of, it already exists. Oh, it does.
Wait, there's a movie called that?
No. No, I thought I'm saving something and it went, bloom. You already have it on your desktop. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I hope you grabbed the trademark for the title or whatever.
Yeah. That's all. Let me just, off. Get out of here. I have so many windows open. Just 1 second. Let me just close that down.
No worries.
All right. So let me open this up, and then now I'll share the screen for this. Okay. So let me go back over to Zoom. So this is a concept poster. It may or may not end up being the official poster. I would be okay if it was. But of course, I don't know where financing is going to come from and how this, I mean, we're still in very early development. So whether or not this will end up being the official poster, I don't know. But certainly I created it with that intention. If it could very well be. But of course, it's in, the lookbook, and it's part of the pitch package again for tone and that kind of stuff. So let me share my screen. I will share this. Okay, now can people see that?
Start screen sharing, double click to enter full screen mode. Oh, there we go. Yep, I got it.
You can see it?
Yep. That's pretty, dude. Very Victorian.
So, thank you. So this is, I
dig that logo for the title. Sorry, I'm just...
Thank you.
It's hitting me like as I'm taking it in, so forgive me. Go ahead.
Amazing. No, that's okay. So again, my goal I'm the mood and atmosphere guy, and I wanted to create something that obviously conveyed that, but there's purpose and intent to this poster. So obviously we have this face profile woman in like these 19th century, clothing. There's a bit of something going on with her body. Who is she? Why is she looking down? What's her story? Who is this woman? That's the whole point, is I want people to like, interesting. You know what I mean? You look at this could be something, it could be a drama, it could be something that Robert Eggers is doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's got that A24 kind of vibe to it. That's intentional. Because the piece, although it is a, paranormal film dealing with college-age characters, this is not archetypal. This isn't a slasher film. This isn't,
That is not what this is giving. I got to be honest.
No. Yeah. No, this is more mature. This is, again, like I've said, a psychological elevated horror drama. And there's lots of horror movies out there with abandoned farmhouses.
Elevated moniker, right?
I know, but people can go fuck themselves. Anyway, so it's like, I say that, but listen, it's not gonna, but anyway.
No, I'm clipping that. You're done.
Oh, I'm done. It's over.
You're canceled.
Canceled. So there's lots of horror movies out there that are, that deal with abandoned farmhouses, and there's lots of horror movies that deal with college-age characters, but they tend to lean, most of the time, they lean more into the slashery, tropey, jump scary kind of stuff. That's not what this is. This is mood,
I have an idea for you.
Suspense. And so, right.
That's what
mine
is.
Anyway, so the woman is important, obviously. Who she is, what she is, the fact that she's this, it's all these whites and grays and darks and blacks is intentional. And the title being in red and having it pop like that against, the gray white background is obviously intentional. Again, that's the horror part of this. The red text popping there is the horror element to this. The title at the top says inspired by true events, which obviously always gets everybody intrigued. I say inspired by, it's not based on, because as as any filmmaker knows, adapting a true story for the screen, you do have to take some creative liberties in order to tell the story correctly. You have to do that. Otherwise I would just make a documentary. So there are things that happen in the story that did really happen. And there's lots of things in there that are absolutely true, but I felt it was best to market this as inspired by true events, which it absolutely is. And then at the bottom is probably the most intriguing part of the poster, which says another dimension of consciousness awaits. And that right there is sort of the more elevated part of the poster. And so it's like, oh, this is what's this about? What is this? Like that. I'm really like, if you saw this in your local AMC at the end of the hallway, it would draw you over to it. I mean, you would see it at the other end of the hall, and you'd see this white face at the other end of the hall. You'd be like, what the hell is that? You'd walk over to it, be like, what is this? This is the house on Port Robinson Road. Another dimension of consciousness awaits. twists. Fascinating. So again, the entire purpose of the poster was to create intrigue and mystery, maturity, and to live in that realm of, your A24-ish kind of stories. I don't want to, make it look like it's a slasher film, right? So, anyway, yeah. So, pretty cool stuff. I'll just stop sharing that for right now.
Yeah.
And so, so I've been dealing with that, and there's a whole lookbook. I'd love to show everybody the lookbook, but it's a little spoilery, so not going to do that. But I did send it off to a trusted friend who works at a level where they see many studio lookbooks, and their feedback was, this is great. It is on par with many that I see, if not exceeds a lot of them. So that was great feedback for the lookbook. If you're watching, I appreciate that very much. They may not be watching, but if they ever do. And so,
can I just clarify real quick? Are you talking about a lookbook or a pitch deck?
Lookbook.
So
lookbooks,
as I understand it, the lookbook for us was when I basically, grabbed a bunch of images that kind of represented the look we were going for in the film. That was more for the cinematographer, as opposed to a pitch deck, which we put together the concept of the film, the look we're going for, all of that stuff, all encompassing. That's what we're using to pitch. So that's why I'm just trying to see which one.
No, fair enough. So this is a bit of a hybrid, to be fair.
Okay.
Lookbooks are exactly what you've said. Pitch decks tend to have, they don't necessarily have to, but they can tend to have, your budget breakdown, your marketing, strategies, it's really involved,
release
right?
strategy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So all that kind of stuff. I don't have that yet.
Okay.
So I'm calling it a lookbook, but it's more of a lookbook on steroids.
Gotcha.
So it's got
one.
Yeah, it's got, the cinematography, it's got my vision breakdown, the tone, the mood board, it's got concept piece. Like it's a bit more than just a lookbook. But I don't want to quite call it a pitch deck yet, because I want to have a little more in there if I'm going to call it that. But you could call it that. You absolutely could pitch with this lookbook.
Nice.
And so that's done as well, which is exciting. And so to answer your question from earlier, as people are like, is this Freddy or what's going on? I thought I was tuning in for Freddy. One of the things
they're getting Freddy right now. Freddy's talking.
They are. I'm talking.
What more do they want? Yeah, it's just throwing a laugh every now and again.
I just throw a laugh every now and then. I'm good.
I'm satisfied.
Tired. So I
love that you have lines from our movie that you quote to be Freddy. Like, that's fucking cool to me. You don't go to the lines from the movies. You go to the lines from our movie.
Why not? So I'm and I have a few videos. If you follow me on social media, you've probably seen a couple little concept pieces, and then I just do them and put them out there to just keep what's this? This is interesting. What's this? To keep the intrigue out there. And when you're an indie filmmaker, you need to keep the intrigue out there. You need to keep the buzz out there. Just like, oh, Dave's working on something. He's cooking over there. What the fuck is he cooking over there? You know what I mean? And so I like to kind of keep the pilot light on. So one of the last sentences here that I will read to you, I don't know if I should read that part. I'll just say that how I would imagine a trailer voice to be, if there was a trailer voice for something like this, it would be more like, the house on Port Robinson Road. Something like that. A nice dramatic pause after house. The house on Port Robinson Road. Okay. Just something like, oh, interesting. There's a mystery, but there's an eeriness behind it. There's a mystique behind it.
Enigmatic.
There's like, ooh. Yeah, exactly. Because there's, again, it is a horror movie, of course, and it's got all the classic Dave McRae mood, atmosphere, and, scares and all that kind of stuff. But it's more than just that. It's not about demons and walls bleeding and crazy voice. It's not The Conjuring, you know. It's more than that. It's a character driven film, and so, you know, yeah, and so I'm very excited about it, and you know, how it will be financed yet, I don't really know. I did do a preliminary budget breakdown. And you know, it's probably going to be in the $2 to $3 million range, probably, is what you're looking at, lower end. Could I crowdfund that? Maybe over 10 years. You know, no, but it's, you know, people have often asked, are you just going to crowdfund it? I'm like, well, maybe a portion of it. You know, I don't know where the funds are going to come from yet. You know, when you're an indie filmmaker, they tend to come from multiple places. So it could be a bit of crowdfunding. It could.
How much? Did you say two?
A preliminary budget breakdown. Again, this is preliminary, so these aren't actuals, right? These are just based on, you know, SAG-AFTRA rates, actor rates. It's based on this 6-week shoot, like all that. Like I just did a big,
such a pain in the ass. Oh my God, sorry.
Yeah, well, I know, and so I did, but I wanted to go full out, right? You know, and of course, you know. People have asked, you know, are you going to shoot in an abandoned house? Because the house that this is based on is gone, burned to the ground. And I said, well, maybe. I said, if it was to match my vision, but at the same time, health and safety is very important. And so just because you have an abandoned house doesn't mean you can shoot in an abandoned house, because it's not set up for, you know, camera gear and you know, if the floors are, you know, it's a whole thing. And so likely to rebuild the house is likely potentially something that may need to be done. And whether that's done on a sound stage, or you build the facade or you find, you know, it's a whole thing. It's a big, you know, a big deal. So doing a lot of the preliminaries in how much all this would cost and you know, crew and insurance and post and all this kind of stuff. It worked out to about between 2.5-3 million, preliminary.
Damn.
And so that could come down. That could go up a little bit. I don't think it would go up much more than that. It's a ballpark, right? It's like, you know, if we're, it is full on vision in the script, right? Like what this would be. You know, there's a thunderstorm, right? There's water, you know what I mean? That goes up, you know. You know, there's lots of things. So, you know, it's one of those things where you know, it's a much larger endeavor than the Billy films. You know, it's a big project, but I think it's a great story. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but I think it's a great story, and it's one that might move a lot of people too. So
yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's very easy to see with Billy, or using Billy as a you know, model for the kind of work that you and Bruce can do. You know, because shout out to Bruce Dale, obviously your
for sure,
filmmaker. Now, as I understand it, this is something that you'd be doing solo, but I do want to shout him out because he obviously helped with both Billies, and you guys did those together.
Of course, he co-wrote it, co-produced it, co-directed it. Yeah, Bruce would. This is The House on Port Robinson Road is a film that I would direct myself, but Bruce would likely come on as a producer.
Cool. So no, I mean, knowing what you guys can do based on Billy, it's very evident that a A24 like pivot would be very easy for you guys to accomplish. And it, you know, to me, you being the mood and atmosphere guy, it actually makes a lot of sense. I would see you behind the helm of a, like, honestly, if someone had said, hey, what kind of film do you think Dave McRae would really kind of excel at making? Truly, this is something that would have probably occurred to me. Like
it just excites me. It just, like, yes, it's based on a true story of, you know, or inspired, excuse me, by a true story, of course. And so I have a personal attachment to it, which can be a good thing and a bad thing.
But what my point is, slasher doesn't immediately jump to mind when I think of what Dave McRae would do if he had his druthers. A24 type stuff is. So, you know, and that's meant to be more of a compliment in that you have such a clear and obvious sort of style and auteur love for film, that I feel like that's sort of that, the A24s, the neons, you know, that's kind of where you would, you know, that's the stream that you would swim very comfortably in.
Yeah, and it's not that I would never do a slasher. I mean, if somebody wanted to pay me, and you know, and
No,
I
no,
love
never.
the
I
script,
don't think
yeah,
anyone
you know
should.
what I mean? No, exactly.
Just kidding.
But no, this is definitely not that. And well, I can read. You know what? I can read something that's already out on social media.
There you go.
For those of you that may want to know a bit more about it, let me just read this, and then. Because I forgot I had posted this like back in April.
While
So
you
this
pull it up,
isn't,
let me
you
just
know,
give a
but-
couple quick shout outs in the chat, just real quick. Movies and Beyond
Sure.
in the chat, what's going on? Jonkler in the chat, what's up? Tyler Adams, Hugh, I'm just going to read your first name. The Wendy Pack, Shot by Shot, Robert the Wolfman, as you mentioned earlier. That sounded scary. Lots of people in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us, you guys. Back to you, Dave.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, let me just share this. So this is from my Instagram. I posted this back in April, but it's not a synopsis, but it's just kind of, you know, it gives a little, you know, a bit of a tease of what the film is kind of about. Here we go. Share this. Let me know when you can see it.
Started screen sharing. It's working. It's working. There it is. Got it.
There it is.
Ooh, fancy.
Inspired by true events, another dimension of consciousness awaits. The House on Port Robinson Road is a slow burn, elevated horror film about a group of college friends who investigate an abandoned farmhouse rumored to be haunted. What begins as a search for answers becomes something far deeper, an experience that challenges their understanding of life, death, and the boundaries between worlds. Some carry hidden grief, others are driven by curiosity, but each is drawn into a mystery that feels bigger than them all. Set in the fall of 2000, the story weaves a chilling mood and atmosphere with emotional and philosophical depth as a shockingly terrifying encounter sets their journey in motion. It explores how certain places can awaken forces beyond our understanding and how confronting those forces can shape who we are. At its core, it's a story about identity, loss, grief, and the quiet strength it takes to keep going.
There you go. I mean, it's definitely.
And then
yeah,
when you look at the poster again,
yeah,
you know, you kind of go, oh, the house on Port Robinson Road.
no, I think you're definitely building the right pitch for it.
Thank
sure.
you. I appreciate that. And I do have an official synopsis, which is even juicier than that, but it's in the lookbook and I can't share that yet.
Right,
so.
right. Fair enough. I get it. Like as someone that's finishing his second pitch deck currently of
Yeah.
projects that they're working on, like I understand the
Yeah.
the effort it takes to do these correctly, and you seem
Well,
to be
yeah, and
headed
you
that
get
direction for sure.
first time or you have one chance to give make a first impression.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate you allowing me to share that with your viewers, because there's so little I can share at the moment. So it's fun to share it and get the word out. I don't know where it's going to go yet. Not sure where the funds are going to come from, or if it even is going to cost, $3 million. Maybe not. Maybe once I get a line producer in there and and everybody goes through the script, we're like, no, you know what? We can do this for 1.8. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, who knows, right? But it definitely is something I'm very passionate about. It means a lot to me, and it was, it's about, it's about ghosts, sure, but it's not just about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like how, Rocky's a boxing movie, sure, but it's not just about boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, well, cool, guys. So keep your eyes out for updates on, the house on Port Robinson Road. And
There you go.
I'm no professional. Gory Tiger in the chat, Alley Girl in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Justin Pennington in the chat, and let's see. I'm so curious if Shelby Oaks is any good. I don't know. I hear it's at least good enough to be passable and stuff like that. I haven't heard it's fantastic, but I do love that YouTubers are getting out there and being able to make their films. Because that's clearly what Dave and I are in the process of
And
trying.
if anybody
to get
wants to finance it,
Hey,
555-355.
Yeah, no, same here. I've got mine that I'm working through as well. But anyway, so what do you say we get to the actual subject of this, shall we?
Yes. Oh, right.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Remind everyone.
Just have to do that every now and then.
All right, so
here.
let me, hang on, I think it went full screen there. All right, so I'm going to pull up the videos here. So we have a few different things. I think we should do, let's ease into it with all of the, I say we do the cameos, every cameo ever first.
Okay.
Before we get into the actual interviews and stuff. What do you say?
I say we do that.
All right, here we go. I'm going to share. Oh, hang on, let me pull up the correct video so I can share the correct screen.
The cameos on Port Robinson Road.
Exactly. All right, and here we go. Let me go back over here and share screen. There we go. And share. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
All right. You are a little small. Let me make...
Well, I am only 5'8".
Let me make us a little bit bigger here. So that way...
What's with the door?
All right. And here we go. Actually, I'll make this a tiny bit smaller. Oh, boy. Here we go. I'm going to fuck up my whole system here by doing this. All right, there. All right, and we'll make this bigger here. Forgive me, guys. I'm resizing Windows to make sure you can see us and what we're showing because it's not doing it naturally. So, all right, cool. That should be good. Here we go. Every cameo ever. And, let me make sure that sound sharing is enabled as well because I had to do that separately last time.
All right.
Share computer sound, yes.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, got it.
All right, I'm ready. Sit back, relaxing. Let's fucking watch this shit.
All right, so here we go. Every Friday, can you see it still?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Boom. I did not make this animation. Shout out to the YouTube channel that has this. Okay, you're gonna get me fucking taken out for your music. All right. System of a Down's Freddy Krueger song. Well, okay. Dream Warriors music video. Well, look at this. We're able to cut through some of this stuff.
Yeah, we've seen that. We know that.
Dream Warriors music video. Okay, so, all right. So Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, a cameo by Evil Dead creator Sam Raimi placing Freddy Krueger's glove just above the cabin tool shed. Original release date, March 1987. So if you guys didn't know that Freddy's glove does appear in Evil Dead, then here you go. So right there, right at the top, you can see. It's easier to see before he actually puts her there, so let's see.
Right.
Alright, so here we go. Just give it a few extra seconds and I'll pause it so everyone can see it. There. So get a good look at it hanging up right there. There are no blades on it as far as I can remember, but it is the glove. It is meant to be Freddy's glove.
Wait, is this the first Evil Dead?
I think so.
What year was the first Evil Dead?
1980. Let's see. Maybe it was Evil Dead 2. Let's see. The Evil Dead 1981. So yeah, it had to have been Evil Dead 2.
This looks like...
Yeah, because Evil Dead 2 was 1987. So...
Are we sure? Like, is it confirmed that it is Freddy's glove, or is it just a glove that looks like Freddy?
No, I have heard this before because he actually brought it back in Ash vs. Evil Dead when they went back.
Oh, okay.
It was on the side though in Ash vs. Evil Dead, but yeah, it is confirmed. So what ended up happening is they did a back and forth, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Sam Raimi put Freddy's glove in there, and so Wes Craven had someone watching Evil Dead on the TV in one of the movies, if I'm not mistaken. And so they kind of went back and forth with things, and so this is meant to be Freddy's glove for sure.
Cool.
So that's the first one. Let me see if anyone else has any additional information on that. What is going on out there? Hang on, there's a dog barking. Let me see what's going on real quick, because he's
That's
just
all
going
right.
to keep barking.
I'll just look at the chat and see what people are talking about. Hello, chat. What's going on, everybody? Shot by shot. In my head canon, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and A Nightmare on Elm Street take place in the same timeline. Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Nighttime says it's literally Freddy's glove off the set. All right. There you go. Let me see here. Jonkler the Collector 98 been trying to think up a list of both best and worst Freddy moments. 2 top 10 lists. That's pretty cool. Tyler Adams, Dave McRae. Shot by Shot says it could be called A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Dave Cut.
All right. Sorry about that. They just left the dog outside when they left, and it's very hot here in Arizona. So,
I bet.
all right, continuing on here. Let's see. Okay,
So that was Evil Dead 2 then?
that was Evil Dead 2, I believe. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. The first Nightmare film, actually, it's literally Freddy's glove off the set. Wow. Okay. Yeah, the glove also popped up in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Yep. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Continuing on. Roseanne Barr's HBO Comedy Club comedy special. Freddy Krueger appears in the outro, almost killing Roseanne and her family, but decides to kill the neighbors instead. Original air date September 19th, 1987. I definitely have not seen this.
Freddy was everywhere.
The 80s and 90s, man. Well, the 80s mostly.
Michael
First
was
that Cunningham
non-existent.
kid and all this, you've got to start locking the door around here.
With consenting dolphins. Next up, in our Whatever Became Of series, former child star Mason Reese discusses his new career as stand-up comedian Sam Kinison.
Lock the door, lock the door. If the neighborhood wasn't going to hell, I wouldn't have to be the night watchman.
Well, you know it's not Robert.
You don't think it is?
No, I don't think it's Robert.
How could it
Well,
not
it's,
be?
I mean,
it's
well,
on
because you
Roseanne.
play
It's
it.
got to be.
I
That
don't
looked
know.
like him to me. They're just modulating his voice too much.
You need to play it. Listen.
Richard, is that you?
All right.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it wasn't Robert.
Yeah,
Englund.
that might not have been. If that was all we got, you're probably right.
Because there's no need. There's no need to pay Robert what it would have cost to pay him to do that
Yeah.
when you could get a guy just to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and this one differentiates. So, Freddy's Greatest Hits, the Elm Street group Freddy's Own Rock album featuring the voice of Robert Englund as Freddy. I don't know exactly what this is referring to, but another 1987. Let's see.
All right.
Just having a drink of water if anyone's curious.
1987. I was 8.
Hear the happy feet
What the
dancing
fuck?
to the beat of the Freddy.
What the fuck? I've never heard
Your
this.
feet up, swing your arms up to your head.
What the? Have you heard this? Wait. Have you
No.
heard this?
No,
What
never
the
heard
fu-
this.
Okay, so I gotta properly.
But it will
stop
be in my rotation from now on. It
right.
is. It's gonna be my car.
It features his voice. Let's see.
See him do when I want you in my arms when I
Well, look. So one thing.
In my arms, whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream.
Nice. So, but here's what I love about this. This is what we were trying to emulate with the song that you get in the end credits of DNN.
Right.
That is
The-
not.
the
It doesn't
mash.
have a music video, so it's not in a music video on the DVD or Blu-ray like the other two songs are. But there is a whole song in the end credits that is. It features the girl, the bands Nancy and the Nightmares that made the crossover song that everyone seems to love, you know, running from this dream warrior, or running from that dream warrior. They also did one called oh shit, I forgot the title of it, but it might be Another Nightmare, I believe is what it is. And Dave did the voice of Freddy that is interspersed, you know, it's interjected throughout the song. He's doing a bit of a back and forth with the singer.
I am.
And it was a lot of fun because I was like, yeah, he did this a few times, and luckily Dave was willing to do it at no additional charge. He's hey, book this man now for all of your needs.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, you know. Yeah.
So all right, let's continue on here. So so it's just a spoof on this song. Okay.
And he comes in and laughs, or
yeah, that's okay. That's it for that.
I'm good.
A Nightmare on My Street. Oh yeah, okay.
I remember this. Yeah, this was huge.
So this was that. We'll just do a little sampling of this because we will definitely get nailed for it, copyright wise.
If you guys haven't heard it, go check it out. It was huge when we were kids.
Yes, absolutely. Specifically, Dave and I, as kids, because we're about to
tell about this guy. You all know me as me scared as hell. He comes to me at night after I call into bed. He's burnt up like a weenie and his name is Fred. He wears the same hat.
All right, wait, now I got to pause it right there because we'll get nailed if we don't pause. And
A Nightmare on My Street.
Just giving commentary. All right, continue.
Commentary.
And even if it's hot outside, he wears it anyway. He's home when I'm awake, but he shows up when I'm asleep. I can't believe that there's a nightmare on
my street.
Oh, I forgot they sampled the fucking thing. So there you go. Yeah, Nightmare on My Street. Yeah, I would consider that a cameo enough. But look at so here's where you and I can.
And that was before Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like that was not much before, but maybe a year before.
Yeah. But like, look at, so this is the talking point, right? Is there anything, anyone, any slasher that permeated the zeitgeist the way Freddy did? Look, forgive me, but Jason couldn't. Like, Jason could never. Michael Myers could never, because you know why? They can't fucking talk. And you need someone that can articulate and fucking have banter and have fun and still scare people. And like, so that's why, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That's why Freddy is the best slasher of all time.
Right. Yeah. No, look, I mean, they are, you know, they were the kings of the 80s, and you know, I'm a big Halloween fan. Michael Myers is my favorite of all time. The original Halloween's my favorite horror movie of all time. And I was a young boy growing up to the 1980s, and Michael Myers was non-existent. His last movie was 1981. His next movie was 1988. In the middle of the decade, Jason and Freddy were tearing it up. When you tried to dress up as Michael Myers, people thought you were Jason anyway. Yeah. And that still happens today. Yep. And so Freddy and Jason ruled the 1980s. I mean, it was unbelievable the way they penetrated the pop culture zeitgeist. But you are right, Freddy, even more so than Jason. Jason did do it, but Freddy more so for all the reasons that you said. He talked, especially when you got more towards the end of the 80s, like 87, 88, 89. Thanks to A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, he became pop culture Freddy, MTV Freddy, cracking one-liners Freddy. You know, the first Elm Street, the second Elm Street, maybe not so much. But certainly by the time you get to the later half of the decade and all these, I mean, look, see, 1988, you know what I mean? And I like all these songs and these shows and these, parodies are all towards the end of the decade, because that's when he really started to, just explode. I mean, it just, people don't realize, it's for something to be iconic, obviously time is a thing, staying power. But you have to cross the threshold of your own genre, and you have to cross the threshold into the pop culture zeitgeist. And that is, I think I've said this on my channel, I think people toss around the terms iconic, legendary, greatest of all time too loosely. I think people use those words to really just describe their emotional feelings on something that they love that is really popular, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can be iconic within your own genre as well, but Freddy and Jason especially have crossed the threshold of their own genre. They're part of the pop culture lexicon. You know what I mean? And that's a very different level and very difficult to get to.
I honestly, look, I'm going to say this, and people are going to get mad at me, especially
here
people
we go.
that are your audience.
Oh, really?
But to me,
let's see if I agree. Let's see if I agree.
Freddie ruled the 80s in the pop culture. The 90s were ruled by Chucky in pop culture. Because like 90 was Child's Play 3. Then we got Bride of Chucky and we got Seed of Chucky.
Two.
Was
Child's
two?
Play 2
oh yeah,
was
2 was 90. 93
Yeah.
was it for or 90? No, it was 91. It was 90 and 91.
Yeah, I
they
know.
did. They were year after year, if I'm not mistaken. And then Bride of Chucky was also in the 90s, and so Chucky was on WWE. You know what I mean? Like he was actually on the big screen, like doing his fucking shit talking. You know, the scarred Chucky and everything. I feel like Chucky, you know, was the pop culture slasher of the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have been. I mean, it's I'm not the biggest Child's Play. I love the first one, and I really appreciate the second one, and that's kind of where it stops for me. But because they just get wild and crazy, and I'm not really a wild and crazy kind of guy. In case you know, the house on Port Robinson Road, you know, a little bit elevated. You know, Dave's got a little. You know, I'm gonna be there in my little, you know, evening, you know, house coat with a glass of scotch and some ice. No, hello, welcome to my movie. No,
You didn't bring your black suit? You must go. This is a black tie affair.
Hello. I love me. I just love me.
No.
Don't you love me?
Doesn't everybody love me?
Please.
No.
Tell me how much you love me. Everyone.
It's not like Marvin the Martian.
No, we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
Where's the
There's something modulator. Kaboom.
Yeah.
So these slashers, I think Chucky got a bit of a bad deal though, because the slasher subgenre as a whole by the 90s, by the early 90s was I mean it was largely dead, and then thanks to Scream in 1996 sort of revitalized it for a new generation. So I think you're right to a degree. Maybe in that window between 90 and 96, it was probably a little more Chucky-ish. You did get, of course, Wes Craven's Nightmare in 94, but yeah, no, look, listen, I'm a Michael Myers fan. He's my favorite, but Michael Myers, I think was dead. I mean, yes, he had a resurgence in 1988. Part 4 did okay. Did well. Part 5 just the bucket. Part 6 wasn't until 6 years later. I mean,
H2O though. H2O.
H2O is what got Michael Myers back on track for a lot of people. It's not one of my favorites. I think it's Michael Myers walking onto the set of Dawson's Creek, but I will say that it is for a lot of people who are maybe a bit younger than us. They love Halloween H2O because it was either their introduction into the Halloween franchise, it was the first Halloween movie they ever saw, or the first one they ever saw in the movie theater. And so a lot of people have a love for Halloween H2O. And to be fair, Michael and Freddy and Jason have been dormant. I mean, I know there's the 2 remakes, but overall they've been dormant for nearly 30 years. And Michael, for better or worse, good and bad, has been out there. So Michael right now is more popular right now because he's seen, he's out there. He's got movies, he's got all this. But like I said on my own channel a couple days ago, I wonder if, you know, those Fred heads and those Hawk heads are waiting for something to cheer about.
They're circling
and right
like
now,
fucking sharks.
yes, right now Michael is more popular right now. Yes, because he's out there, and people are like, oh, Michael's way more popular than Freddy and Jason. I'm like, well, yes, right now. I said, but I wonder if this Crystal Lake series is great and something happens with Freddy, and you know, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but I'll just say if they come back like a bat out of hell, and it's just like Freddy and Jason are back, all these Hawkheads and Fredheads are going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to give Michael a run for his money.
Dude, I envision, because this is how my brain works, I envision a gladiatorial arena, right? And Michael is out there just fucking slashing and killing anything that's sent after him. And meanwhile, 2 corridors with gates down, and fucking Freddy and Jason are just pacing back and forth, waiting for their gates to open. Yeah, just waiting.
Like a tiger.
Yeah, literally.
Like a tiger just pacing back and forth in the zoo.
They're ready to pounce, dude. They are ready for their chance. You know what I mean?
They're ready. They're ready to make a comeback.
We're at least getting Crystal Lake, so at least the Jason, the Hawkheads, as you called them, which I think is good. I think that's good. I think that should stick.
Well, and for all you Friday the 13th fans out there, because in the world of fandom, things are either incredible and the greatest thing of all time or shit. There's no nuance anymore for some reason. Crystal, just remember this. Crystal Lake doesn't, we hope it will be, but it doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be, hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That actually was pretty good. If it just is that, if it hits just that, like, you know what? That was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't crazy about that, but you know what? Overall, that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to change your life. It just has to be pretty good.
Dude.
And
Nightmare,
they're onto something.
Nightmare has a very low bar to step over. Like,
yes.
And like, dude, we still, to this day, by the way, we still get comments, at least a few comments a week, and inevitably a couple comments a month that state way better on DNN, that state way better than the remake. Like, this should have been what they did instead, like people hate that fucking remake. So like,
yes.
Freddy just has to like come out swinging a little bit, and like, he's
look at the response to Dylan's New Nightmare. I mean, look, like every movie, movies are art, and not everybody's going to love what you put out, and that's fine. That's just the nature of the business that we're in. But the response was positive.
It's
because
still 98+% like to dislike ratio.
Right. And so people really appreciated what you did, the story you wrote. Yes, it's not finished, of course. That's the whole idea. But it's a great start. It's a great introduction. People really appreciated what we put together. They appreciated how we handled Freddy, and look at the response, right? And now imagine that as a major motion picture. I mean, it's just, Michael's, he's right now, but I'm telling you, it's not like those Freddy heads or Fred heads and Hawk heads just went away. They don't have anything to cheer for yet. But the second Freddy and Jason come back, man, I mean, Michael's going to have a battle on his hands.
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%. All right, so let's continue on here. The Fat Boys. Now, this was more of an inspiration of the song where Freddy, where you cameo in the song. But let's take a look. The Fat Boys obviously were big parody dudes back in the day, parody rappers.
Right. Were they fat?
Yes.
Okay, there they are.
That's them.
Okay. I think I remember them.
By today's standards, like a little big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just kind of chubby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I remember this.
Yeah, dude. This was the
yes.
shit. Yeah.
Now this is Robert Englund.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, again, we gotta pause in order to avoid being shut down by copyright. But this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, this is why I wanted Dave. And by the way, at the end of this, let's play that song. Let's play that song in its entirety so everyone can fucking hear the work that you did.
The one from Dylan's New Nightmare? Yeah, sure.
Because it's so fun. And by the way, what's funny is Mahalo, Michael Onak, who was the gentleman behind the musical arrangement of a lot of these songs. Fuego came up with the idea for the mashup, but both he and Mahalo came up with this song or Another Nightmare that had you on it. And you were so kind to do the extra, like, because look, you're a voice actor by trade, it's your profession. You got paid to make the movie at a very discounted rate, by the way. Thank you very much. Like, so you were very kind about that. So
I was paid in chocolate milk. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we do. Keep your calcium up here in Arizona.
Oh, 100%. Actually, I think you guys did have chocolate milk in the fridge for me.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love it. I love it when I go to Sag, like, okay, the chocolate milk's obviously for me. Really?
But yeah, so what's funny is like there was one point where Freddy goes like from the things that tear. And like he needed you to draw it out, so he ended up like actually extending your voice. So from the things that tear.
You could have just asked and I would have done it.
Well, you were so kind. Like I didn't want to, step on any dicks. You know what I mean?
It's true, and mine's really big. I got to unravel it. I got to.
It's so much work. You got to take it out from your belt loop. I get it. Like I have the same problem.
Well, we're just so manly.
What are we gonna do? Look, not everyone has the ability to whip things with it, and we take things how we have to. You know what I mean?
That's true. And you look carefully at DNN, you can see my bulge, and it's just the way it is.
Of course. Well, again, Freddy's never had a belt before, but he had to this time.
I had to.
All right, continuing on with the song here.
Krueger's a man, it doesn't matter 'cause I'm still rapping about him, understand?
Oh, that's all we get. All right, we might need to go back
right.
and listen to some more later, but all right.
All right. Well, we get it.
Yeah, so Freddy Krueger's MTV spot, a 1-hour special featuring Robert Englund as Freddy and MTV personality Kevin Seal. Original air date, August 1988. Yeah, dude, 87 and 88. Like, Robert was just riding high on the hog, brother.
What were the Elm Street films in 87, 88? Dream Warriors and Dream Master.
Oh,
Dream
Jesus.
Warriors was the one where you begin to see that hybrid, that change, because in part 2 he's terrifying.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, he always has quip-y-ish kind of things, like you go the border, I'll go the rest. Okay, yeah, but I mean like actually turning things into jokes. You started to see that in part 3, and then by part 4 he's standing on the beach throwing on shades. I mean, he's by part 4 he's MTV Freddy, right? And so it's not a coincidence that you start to see this cross into the zeitgeist, because I still think he was probably mostly popular within his own genre 84, 85, right? Because he's living in the horror space. By the time you get to Dream Warriors was such an it depends on how you measure it. Part 2 is my second favorite in the franchise.
Well, this is literally how you refer to him at this era. You refer to him as the MTV Freddy.
Yes, because so I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing that threshold crossed into the larger pop culture at this time, 87, 88, 89, right? That's when he's doing these music videos and, talk show appearances and just being, silly.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's, again, I find it endlessly fascinating because we've never had a slasher break through to the zeitgeist the way that Freddy did, and they just kept riding him, dude. Like, kept riding him like a pony.
And I'll say this too, just because I think it's worth saying, and I will be, and look, when it comes to Art the Clown, who is right now the big thing on the block in terms of his popularity. People think that they've said that he's a icon, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And I've done videos on my channel, and I think some viewers might get a little persnickety with me because I tend to really I tend to be really nuanced about these things because I care about defining certain things. And I think, when it comes to Art the Clown, people like to point to him as he is the next Freddy right now. He is the next Jason right now. And Art the Clown is extremely popular right now. There's no doubt about it. He's extremely popular within the horror genre. There's no doubt about it. He's having things made of him and bobbleheads, and he's at Spirit Halloween, all that kind of stuff. And that's, and that's great. But when it comes to crossing the threshold, for art, that's still a bit of a different level. It's also a different time. It isn't the 80s anymore. It's the 2020s. And so, how things cross thresholds and cross that, zeitgeist could also be a different path. Art may get there, but in a different way. But Art the Clown and the Terrifier movies are also not general movie-going audience friendly. And so he may have a harder time just by the sheer default of the kind of movies that he is. Now you could say, yeah, but Dave, Terrifier 3 cost, $3 million to make. It grossed nearly $100 million at the box office. Yes. And part of that is because of the shtick and the gimmick, and I say that in a positive way, but the shtick and the gimmick to Art the Clown, the shtick and the gimmick, the hook of the Terrifier movies is basically, how crazy is this movie going to be compared to the last? People go because they want to see, it's like a roller coaster. You want to see if you can withstand the barf machine. You want to see if it's going to be gorier than the next. You want to see if, and Art the Clown is, a cool, character. Fine. I mean, people go and they, okay, fine. But overall, there's a hook and there's a gimmick and there's a shtick to the Terrifier movies that will have a shelf life. And so, you can only do that so much until, look, there's some, I don't want to go off on a tangent about this, but it's important. There's Terrifier fans that I haven't seen part 3 yet, but there's some fans, Terrifier fans that have reached out to me that have said, and this is true, that have said, and these are your fellow Terrifier fans, folks, that have said, I loved part 3. I really liked it, but I didn't really find it gorier or crazier. I just found it more of the gore or more of this.
Yeah.
And that tells me that even in part 3, there's already a ceiling that's been met.
They hit
and
the
now,
ceiling in part 2 with the
Right,
bedroom kill. Yeah.
Right. And so now we're seeing just more of it, which can create the illusion that it is gorier, which I guess it is if there's more of it.
Right.
But in terms of that shocking moment, the hacksaw scene, the bedroom scene. And so anyways, I digress. I understand that. I'm a bit verbose. I'm a rambler. But I just want to say that I think it's important that we don't jump to conclusions or jump the gun. That's the kind of person I am. Art the Clown is extremely popular. He's becoming absolutely a horror icon within the horror genre. But crossing the threshold into the larger pop culture zeitgeist, I'm not saying he's not going to do it. He could do it, but I think it's a bit of a different thing. And maybe he'll get there. And somebody who agrees with me, by the way, not agrees with me directly, but agrees with me on their own, is Damien Leone. He recently did a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum.
Yep.
And on that podcast, Michael Rosenbaum said, and I've been saying this for a couple of years. Damien Leone was asked, how do you feel about Art the Clown being an icon like Freddy and Jason? And I'm paraphrasing, but Leone said, well, hang on a sec. Let's, I love hearing that, but let's wait 20 years and see how time treats the character, right? How history treats the character. And let's see, was he being humble? Sure. But he gets it. He understands it. It's like, well, hang on a sec here. This might be a little like, we got to kind of, and so, yeah, anyways, I just think it's important that we hammer home how crazy it was at this time for these characters like Freddy, like you're saying, the levels that they reached at was insane. It was a different time, but it was insane. It was absolutely insane. It was like he was the Elvis Presley of horror. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
But that's why it tracks that art is now. Like that's
Right.
It makes complete sense to me that art, like, here's the thing. Name me a slasher or an icon from horror that could walk on to a talk show or a fucking sitcom and be able to hold their own. Art can't even talk, yet he would be able to be a character and come on and interact and laugh and fucking set up like horrible pranks for the people that he's guest starring with. Like, Art could actually be the Freddy, the Chucky of the current day. Like, and I'm not saying this because I'm like a big diehard Art fan. I just feel like what outs is personality. What outs is slashers that have fun, that cannot be walking walls, which is
right.
What I of course affectionately call Michael Myers.
Yes.
But Jason is a walking wall that breathes. Like, it's like there's no entirely like that visibly breathes. Obviously Michael Myers does too, but that's the whole thing for Jason.
Well, and
that's what
as,
Kane Hodder brought to the role.
as somebody has said in the chat too, it's about rewatchability as well. Again, people are, yes, it made $90 million at the box office, of course, and that's huge. I mean, look, it's great for horror. It's great for indie horror. Congratulations to those guys. And it's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And a rising tide raises all ships. It's absolutely fantastic. But it's important to note that part of the big reason why that is because of that hook and that shtick and that step right up, everybody, and see if you can withstand the blood. You know, that's not necessarily why you're watching A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or Friday the 13th. There isn't quite that same hook. And so, you know, it's important that, you know, we look at those types of things. Had Art the Clown been a just regular rated R horror movie, would it have made $90 million? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think that's part of the brilliance of the story, right? That is the story that we got in the early 80s and the late 70s, where these slashers that started were fighting up this, you know, fighting against the current the whole way. And like Terrifier to me is like, I respect it tremendously from a filmmaker's perspective.
For sure.
Yes, the first, like so many people say, the first was more of a special effects test, you know, or a film reel than a movie. I disagree with that. I think that's a little reductive. You know, there is a story there. It might not be as deep of a story as you want, but it's no less deep than a lot of the slashers we were getting around the late 70s and 80s and shit. This just went harder into the gore, and it was successful because of it. Because you know what? Horror fans like gore, and fucking horror fans have evolved and grown, and like the 80s gore isn't enough anymore for some. And yet the most successful gore of today is gore that emulates gore from the 80s, that is practical, right? And like all the shit that we learned from that growing up, you know, affects it. That's what I love about the cycle of film, and people don't recognize this enough, right? Like J.J. Abrams grew up watching Star Wars and then eventually became the guy that made Star Wars. The people that are making horror movies now are people that grew up watching those horror movies, just like you and me. And so they know the value. A lot of them know the value of practical. Damien Leone knows the value of practical gore effects. And it's visceral, and it does what CG can't. And that's part of why these movies do so well, because it's so visceral and it's so taboo, right? This is what this millennial and zennial generation, they've never seen stuff like this before. You know, we've been able to seek it out with your Faces of Death growing up, you know, which was fake ultimately.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Anything Tom Savini made, Maniac. You know, anything along those lines. You know, that was our Terrifier growing up. And it pushed the boundaries, and that's what Terrifier's doing, just on a much broader scale. You know why? He's a fucking clown. You know, horror fans, clowns will always touch a nerve, and it will always attract attention. And if you give me a clown, if you give audiences a clown with personality that is also super gory, like it's like, I have a slasher that is essentially Jason meets Saw, and I haven't gone deep into it, but I've mentioned it on the channel in the past. As cool and as much ethos and pathos that the character has, it's never gonna do as well as Terrifier, because he's not a clown. He's got a tremendous silhouette. He's got an outstanding look. The gore is going to be incredible, but he's not a clown. You know, there's certain things that just resonate with audiences, and a killer clown always has and always will.
Yes, and I agree with everything you've said. My only concern is, you know, I look at that, and you know, I was looking at a concern, but I go, is the shelf life, right? Is that, you know, once, like, you know, they're unrated, they're gory, they're crazy, they're wild, they're over the top, but that has a shelf life. And some Terrifier fans are even thinking it's been hit in the third Terrifier film. And so even if that is
it's the most successful, it made almost $100 million off a $2 million budget. How could they say that it's shelf-lifed?
No. Well, what I mean is yes, from a business perspective, no, of course not. I'm talking about from the hook, the shtick that gets you into the theater, which is the over-the-top, gratuitous violence and gore that never cuts away. So you see bodies being sliced, you see guts spilling out, you see it is just absolute grotesque and gore. It is like watching, I hate to say this, but it's true, it's like watching a beheading video from the early 2000s from, you know, the whole kind of stuff. And you know
I
what I'm
have one
talking
that'll
about.
never leave my brain. I will
but-
never watch anything like it again.
But you know what I'm talking about,
Of course,
right?
yeah, no, that's my point.
And so that's and Art the Clown is a part of that. He's whimsical and he's a mime and he's dancing and he's got a great look and all that kind of stuff. Great.
Don't let him hear you say that.
No. But
He
I'm
doesn't
just
like being called a mime.
okay. Well, I'm saying he's mime-like. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But I'm just saying, and he's a big part of that. He's a big part of it for sure. But I feel we cannot overlook the hook and the shtick of the real reason why people are going to see the Terrifier films is not because of the story or because of the attraction to the through line necessarily. Not that there's anything wrong with what he's doing, but it is like a ride. And my only concern, of course, it's not a concern from a business perspective. It made nearly $100 million, but I wonder where Leone says he's doing part 4 and then that's it. I wonder if he himself even knows how much more of this can I do before it hits the shelf life of desensitization. And where people go and they sit in the theater and yes, it's gory again and it's over the top and it's more of that, but how much of that, my question is, how much of that can you watch? Because right now it is very taboo, as you've said. It's not mainstream. We're not used to seeing this. We're not used to seeing it in such a mainstream public forum, right? Usually it's on our phones at night on the internet and the dark web. We're not used to seeing this kind of stuff being presented at your local AMC or your Cineplex with wide market. I mean, this is something that's very different. And so my question is that, yes, of course it's making a lot of money. And of course part 3 did, because a lot of the people that went to see part 3 are also are also their friends bringing their friends who've never seen this kind of thing, right? Everybody's going back to see it. And you got to check this out. It's a novelty. It's a thing. And so my concern is once everybody's seen it, and how many times can you see, maybe not hardcore fans, but I wonder how much more can we see of this gratuitous, wild, crazy gore before it too starts to feel recycled, just kind of like, okay, I've now up to Terrifier 7, but it's like, yeah, but it's just more of the same.
Okay.
And so
allow me to offer one example. Saw 10.
that's not me talking. That's
No.
Terrifier fans talking.
Saw 10. The
Right.
10th in the franchise made the most of the entire franchise, if I'm not mistaken. And it was more of the same. But
Right.
it was grounded in Jigsaw story, right? It actually
Exactly.
brought back Tobin Bell, it brought back the core. But like,
Right.
I don't see how anyone could look at the exponential growth in success of each Terrifier installment and think that it might not have a 20-year shelf life. The success of Terrifier 3 alone is going to be something that people talk about for decades, along the same lines as Paranormal Activity, along the same lines as things like that.
Well,
because it's the first unrated, widely released horror movie that made almost $100 million. And it only grew, like I said, exponentially from movie to movie. It's not like these fans are going away. There are still people doing Art the Clown cosplays in Comic Cons across the country, whether they be horror cons or regular Comic Cons. Like I don't feel that there's
maybe
any
I
way
should
to
clarify
to
what I
think that
mean
it
by
might
shelf
not.
life.
Yeah, like please.
And so when I say shelf life, like, A Nightmare on Elm Street hit a shelf life. Friday the 13th hit a shelf life, right? And so, franchises eventually hit shelf lives when they start to, they start to kind of run out of ideas. The weird and unusual seep in. We've jumped the shark. We've hit a plateau where there's nowhere left to go for the character. We've sort of done everything. We've hit everything. I'm not saying that Art the Clown is going to hit a shelf life where he is erased from pop culture. I don't mean that. I mean, Freddy and Jason haven't been erased from pop culture. He's going to be around for a while. I just am not convinced that this kind of success that he's had, like, I'm not necessarily convinced that Terrifier 4 is going to make $200 million at the box office.
It's not going to make $200 million, but I guarantee it makes more.
It might. It might. Or I'm very, I just, and again, I haven't, again, this is not, I have no, dog in the fight. This is just, I'm looking at it from more of an objective point of view. I'm just, explaining what some Terrifier fans have said to me, that they've said, yeah, I liked it, but it was kind of it was just more of the same. And I think where my interest lies is how much more can Terrifier fans take because of how much, how crazy the films are and how quickly the Terrifier films have potentially peaked in terms of its gratuitous, over-the-top gore. So you say, but look at Saw. But Saw is more of a mainstream rated R film, and it's more palatable to general movie-going audiences. And therefore, and hang on. I'm not convinced that Terrifier 3 is palatable to general movie-going audiences, right?
What does that matter, though, if it made $100 million? That's more than huge budget movies with with quote-unquote mass audience appeal can even hope to make.
Well, because I'm not convinced that everybody who went to see Terrifier 3 is going to come back to see Terrifier 4.
Then you're not paying enough attention to the fan.
No. Hang on a sec. Not everybody that went to see Terrifier 3 is a Terrifier fan. I'm more convinced that when you look at Terrifier and then you look at Terrifier 2 and you look at the success it had, and then you look at Terrifier 3 and the bigger budget it had in the marketing, I think we should at least be open-minded to say that a lot of those people that went to see it were Terrifier fans, and a lot of those people that went to see it were people that were dragged to go see it because of the hook, not dragged, but I just mean we're invited to go see it. You have to check it out. It's an event sort of thing. You've got to go check out that movie. It's that you've got to go check out that. Because everybody's going to see it. Everybody's talking about it. It's sort of, it's on the cusp of being a zeitgeist sort of thing within the world of horror. And everybody is going, and my dad is going, I got to go check out this Terrifier thing. I hear it's absolutely crazy and wild. And so now that those people have seen it, all those people that are your mom who lives next door who's taking the kids to soccer practice, and your neighbor who's down the street who's not really a big horror fan but went to see it because his son all these other people that have gone to see it, I'm curious how many of those people it won over as fans and will return. And so, because I think it's important that we at least acknowledge that that a lot of people went to see it because of the hook, because of the shtick, because of the you've got to check this out. It's so scary. It's that kind of thing, right? It's so scary. It's going to make you, the puking, the barfing. It's so scary. It's part of this marketing. It's part of this whole kind of thing. Come see Terrifier. Say, I got to go see if I'm going to throw up too, and there's a part of that thing about the Terrifier films, especially now that they're getting theatrical releases. And so when I say shelfer, right? Of course it does to a point, though. I don't think it's going to exponentially grow and grow and grow over many films. I think that's not general movie-going audience appeal. I don't think, again, when I speak of general movie-going audience, I'm talking about the general movie-going audience, the soccer mom next door, the t-ball coach down the street, maybe your wife or girlfriend who's not really into horror movies, but sees one every now and then at Halloween time. Not horror hardcore fans that love gore. Of course, you're going to be there day one. Of course, those fans are going to be there. But, I think part of the success of Terrifier 3 was the event style of its release. The you've got to go check it. It's unrated. What people are you serious? Dude, fuck, people are curious. They're like, I gotta go see this. Everybody's curious. Everybody wants to know. It's that thing that you watch at night at home with your wife's in the other room. Like, I gotta check out that beheading video. What the fuck is it's got that kind of aura about it, right? And I just question the sustainability of that long term, and whether that's going to be something that continues to make $100 million at the box office over the next 5 or 6 movies. I'm not quite convinced of that yet.
So here's what I will say. I agree with you. If it was trying to do the Saw thing of a movie a year, it would not be successful, or it would eventually run out of steam. However, considering the fourth is meant to be the quote unquote conclusion that
Sure.
also tells the origin of Art.
Right. Yes.
I think not only will that be enough to bring audiences that already love the franchise back.
Agreed.
Like, yes, we got a segment of the audience that went and tried Terrifier 3 and like, oh, fuck no, that's not for me. I'll never try this again. But there's still a group of people that didn't try Terrifier 3 that people will convince to go see Terrifier 4 because it's going to be even bigger and better. Now, here's the thing. Damien is...
Well, we don't know, but...
Well, yeah, but he knows, right? He clearly knows. He's saying, this is it, right? I'm giving you the origin. I'm giving you the final of the story. I think he's aware of the fact that the way to go with Terrifier is to do movie number 4, ride this wave, and then let it rest for like 5, 8, 10 years. And then come back strong with like, just bring Art back. Everyone will be like, oh my God, nostalgia. Like, you know, all the kids that grew up watching it, they'll be 10 years older and they'll be like, oh, Art's coming back. Holy shit, that's what got me into horror. You know, like it'll be that kind of thing, just like Final Destination Bloodlines. 15 years from the last movie, the biggest opening of the entire, like most box office of the entire franchise. And they just went hard into the paint with the gore. And that's what people love about it, right? I think that we're getting to a point where society is way more not only tolerant of, but a little bit bloodlusty for that kind of shit. But
Terrifier gore is different than Bloodlines gore.
It is. Well, I mean, it's not terribly far off. Like,
yeah, but you're not seeing a chainsaw.
No, I know.
Like,
yeah, but it is still really gory. You know, like it is more Hollywood sort of stuff than Terrifier is. But like that line is those lines are getting closer and closer together. You know, so I think if they do what I believe Damien is aware of, he's going to do 4, make it the biggest, most story rich portion of the whole franchise, which will give people a lot of material to chew on. And then, rest it for 5 to 10 years, and then Art can come back. It doesn't need to be 10 Terrifier movies, but he could easily do one every 5, 8 years and fucking kill it every single time.
He could, and I also think, but I think, and I don't want to speak for him. Obviously, this is speculation.
Sure, on both of our sides.
I think there's a part of Damien Leone that knows exactly what we're talking about. That he knows that he's hit a ceiling in terms of not in terms of popularity, but I mean, it's like, you know, there's how much. What can I do other than killing children that is on camera, that is going to actually make people go, oh, now that's even more crazy than the last, because that's the identity. That's part of the identity of the Terrifier movies and that's why you go, what scene is going to be, it's like you go see, it's like why you go see Mission Impossible. What crazy things Tom Cruise is going to do? You go see Terrifier because like that bed, how are they going to top the bedroom scene? And I think he knows he's, you know, in that realm, there's only so far you can go until you realize I got to bring in the kids, and he doesn't want to do that. Right. And he's probably he's got some offers, and he realizes now maybe he wants to put Terrifier to bed and go off and do maybe a little more mainstream stuff. I don't know.
He's been wanting to do Friday.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
But you know, he wants to do other things, and that's fair. But I don't think it's just I don't think it's just because he's getting offers, he wants to do other things. I think he knows what he has, and he knows the shelf life in terms of not wanting to run this thing into part 5, part 6, part 9, part 13. You know, he knows he needs to, you know, I need to, because I've, where do I go from here? I can't bring in the kids. Oh God. Okay. You know, I gotta, because he's not peaked too soon, but from a certain perspective, he's really peaked. And it's like, if you peak really early, then your audience has nowhere left to go emotionally. Mm-hmm. And so, and I think that's why some Terrifier 3 fans had come out going, yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was really gory, but it didn't, wow. Like I didn't have that whoa moment that I did in Terrifier 2. And that tells me that he's hit that moment now where it's like, okay, I've shown every body part I could possibly shown. I've shown somebody get their nuts fucking sawed in half with a chainsaw. I've shown like, what else can I do other than literally taking a child and cutting off? Like, I mean, what else can I do? And so I think there's a part of him that's like, you know what? Let's make 4 Let's do it this way. Do this, this, and this. We'll do it like this. We'll make it crazy. We'll make it gory. And then I'll get out while you're on top. And because eventually, if he continues to go on, people are going to go, yeah, so how was it? You know, it was really gory, but it's nothing that I really haven't seen over the last 8, Terrifier films. And that's what I'm talking about by shelf life.
Right. But I don't think it's going to be, well, anyway, yeah, I'm belaboring the point and getting way far away from the Freddy stuff. So perhaps we should circle
But
back
I think we're both making good points.
No,
I think
yeah,
we're both
I
making
agree.
good points.
And I do think it's
Yeah.
a discussion worth having, which is why I took the time to do so.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to go back and read a lot of these comments because there's a lot of opinions here. So I'm very interested in that. I'll check that out. Let's go back to this video here. You can still see what I'm sharing, right?
Yes.
All right. So all the way back to the MTV spot. All right. Let's see.
Oh yeah. What were you talking about? Right.
Completely off. I mean, it is related. So, all right, here we go.
No, it is. And I think we both made some really good points.
Yeah, for sure.
There. Klockman, Maury Amsterdam's old agent.
But again, this is the kind of setup
I pride myself in being a team player. I like to pass the ball as well as run.
100%.
There's a lot of give and take involved in show business. I know.
100%.
And pushed on this one a little bit too far.
100%.
First he doesn't show up, then he starts abusing me. He always smells bad. Hello, Sal. Good.
Yeah, that can't be Robert, right? If he's in the shadow that much.
Why would you pay him for that?
Nah. Freddy tries to kill George Bush, DC Follies. Season 2, episode 4.
This would be George Bush Sr.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right. Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
Nearly live from Washington, D.C., Sid and Marty Croft presents DC
Jesus,
Follies.
Freddie was on Sid and Marty Croft. Oh, I feel so old to even know what that is. Fred Willard.
Fred Willard.
Rip.
And the magic of the Croft puppet.
Well, there they are, 1,000 points of light. I
Oh.
thought I was just making that up.
I was just about to say 1,000 points of light.
Start swimming. The bushes.
Are you from the New York Times?
Check the obituary section.
That's
Krueger,
him.
he's the president.
You didn't get my vote.
Please don't, Freddy. If you kill him, Dan Quayle will become president.
Not Dan Quayle.
That's definitely Robert.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I'll stick to teenager.
So, what I think is interesting about that is it showcases the voice correction that they did back in the day. That was super
and I
deep
like
for
his.
Freddy.
It was, but I prefer that over some of the.
This is God.
I don't mind that one. I don't mind that one because it's deeper in the film. It's not deep in the trailer, but anyway, yeah, no, I don't. It's a bit deep, but it's I'd take it over. But some of the
We're old friends, you and I.
yeah, that's it. We're old friends, you and I. Like, what? What is going on? And then people were like, "Oh, it's on purpose because he's like, he's losing his power." It's like, well, shut up.
Yeah, it's on purpose. Bullshit.
No,
There's
it's not.
no prize here. Stanley's not
No.
going to give you a pat on the back. All right, so Freddy's Nightmares. Well, everyone knows what Freddy's Nightmares is, so we don't have to focus on these two. Whoa, shit. That was quick.
Oh, this brings back memories.
Dude, I love the theme song.
Yeah, my stepdad, well, he's not my stepdad anymore, but at the time, he hated the fact that I wanted to watch these.
I was too scared to watch this growing up. I was in grade school, and my friends talked about watching this, but I was too scared to watch the show. But I loved Freddy. I just got to shout out a super chat for $5 from Tony from Hack the Movies. Yes, he's Tony. If you guys didn't know, is a very talented actor. Here's my impression of Robert Englund. I'm Robert Englund. I was Freddy. Remember? Look at my glove. It has knives. Tony,
Ooh, that's great.
I mean, yeah, he's really.
I mean,
cool.
I actually that was such an iconic impression that I actually feel something in the pit of my stomach. It just was.
Dave, I love you. Can you do me a favor? Can you see this super chat?
I can see it. Yeah, I have it on
Can
my
you
screen
read
over
it
here.
as Freddy?
Here's my impression of Robert Englund. I'm Robert Englund. I was Freddy Krueger.
Look at my glove, bitch.
Nice. Yeah. I hate that it cut you. It cut you off when you were laughing because the sound bullshit.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe if I didn't go quite so hot.
That is
better.
Yeah. We at least heard the first part of that. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there you go, Tony. Can you do that? If you can do that, then we'll talk. All right. So here we go. All right. Let's continue. Let's see what's after this little intro. So Freddy's Nightmares, we do, just so you know, if you guys are curious, Fuego and I did a review series of all the movies and every episode of Freddy's Nightmares that actually featured Freddy. There's like 5 or 6 episodes across the whole series, so we reviewed those specifically. And I've been wanting to do for years, it's going to be such an undertaking, but I've been wanting to do a master kill count for Freddy, which includes all the movies, all the cameos, and all of the comic book deaths, and like just do a massive, fucking ranking of all the Freddy kills and shit. I thought that'd be a lot of fun, but wow, such an undertaking.
That is quite an undertaking.
Marvel Comics, Stan Lee's attempt at turning Freddy into comic gold, but due to anti-violence protest fears, the series only ran for 2 issues. Original print dates October and November 1989. I do have these. The artwork is awesome. Wait till you see this. Have you seen these books? They're magazine size.
I don't think I have.
Okay, I have these. I did cover. I've covered every Freddy Krueger comic book.
Okay.
On the Horror Show Cecil TikTok channel, if you guys are curious, or Horror Show Shorts. You can go to the Horror Show Shorts YouTube channel, and I do cover all of these, so you'll be able to see all the Freddy comics. But this was one issue.
That's cool. I had the Elm Street 4 Fangoria cover. I remember that.
Nice. And this was issue 2. It was black and white, but it was a full magazine, like a thick magazine of just the comic of Freddy, going. It was really, really cool. There was a massive like Freddy planet that a girl like dreamt of and she had to walk on and shit. It was really interesting. All right, Nightmare on Elm Street, the video game console.
Oh, I played this. I used to go over to Bruce's place and play this. So the Friday the 13th game was always more in my mind, but this was definitely one as well. Yep, I remember playing this.
It's so dope.
You know what would be awesome is if you and I could play this game right now.
Dude, that'd be sick. I'll bet there's a way to do it. Probably an emulation or something.
Yeah.
Wait, so I want to read that. That was the end of the game, I guess. I've never played this. That would be a fun stream if we just tried to do it together.
Yeah, I have. Not in like 35 years.
You played it before? I don't think I've ever played this.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So the evil is purged, fire purifies all, the bones are ashes, soon to be dust. Freddy TM is dead, and the nightmare is ended.
They actually had to have the trademark.
They trademarked just the name Freddy? Wow. Poor anyone that has that name.
Or Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Nope, he doesn't own that.
Nope.
All right, so, or has it? All right. Freddy's 1 to 900 number. Oh, 1-900 number, charged by the minute. Late 80s and early 90s hotline. Oh, this is great. Let's see what this sounded like. By the way, this stream, we started at 5. We talked about your movie for like 45 minutes, and we've spent an hour and 15 minutes on the first 9 minutes of this compilation.
Unbelievable.
I knew
Hack the Movie said he just DM'd you an impression of his impression. So
okay, all right. I might have. It's probably video, so I might have to pull it up so we can all hear it.
I have to pull it up. Oh, we've only done 9 minutes of this 8.5 hour stream. Incredible. Right?
All right, here we go.
Jesus, I know.
I'm Robert Englund. I was Freddy. Remember V? What else did I say? Look at my glove. It has knives.
Jesus Christ, that's breathtaking. That's incredible. And I totally missed the joke on that too. Remember V. Yeah, he's talking about this. I think. Oh, I completely butchered it. I'm looking out of the side of my, and I just completely butchered it. That was a breathtaking impression.
Tony, impressive. Yeah, I
Most
love Tony
impressive.
because every time he does an audition, he starts with, "I'm Jason Voorhees." Like, it's the best impressions start with having to identify yourself.
Of course. Well, that is the reason for slating. So
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's see what this is.
Once again, foolish friends, Freddy Krueger.
Oh, the 1-900
your phone. Dial this number now. I've got some tales to tell. Freddy's favorite bedtime stories. Bedtime stories. So dial this
Did you?
number now.
I didn't dial this.
And prepare for a scare.
Wait, what was that?
I didn't dial any of this. I should.
Freddy Krueger has a
I wonder if
special
it still
message
works. Probably
just
not.
for you.
No.
That's kind of cool though. Back in the day,
Yeah.
trying to get a bunch of kids.
Well, and
to...
and speaking of Art the Clown, I did see during the lead up to Terrifier 3, they had tried to do a similar thing and call a 1-800 or 1-900 for Art the Clown.
You
And
called
I
a
think
mute character?
Yeah, no, I saw it. I mean, chat room, back me up. Was there not some sort of thing in the lead up to the release of Terrifier 3 where you could call a 1-900 number, something to do with Art the Clown? He has like a gift for you or something, and I think you called and you just heard his horn honking or something. I'm not sure, but chat room will back me up on that if they're aware. But I remember they tried to do a similar thing, and I don't know how successful it was or it wasn't. I mean, 1-900 numbers are not really a thing now, so I'm not really sure. But
All right, so
oh, Shot by Shot says, yeah, I called it.
Yeah.
No, not that, not that 900 number Shot. I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, okay,
yeah. It was just him honking. Okay, all right.
There you go. See,
Fair enough. Apparently, a lot
how
of
much
people...
did that cost you? How much did that cost you?
$6, $8.
$8 to hear him honking.
Just call me. I'll charge you $5. You know. All right, Freddy's Glove, the final Friday Jason Goes to Hell. So yes, this is obviously something that everyone knows. Yep. This broke the non-existent internet at the time.
It did. This was Kane Hodder doing the being Freddy Krueger. The only thing I don't like about this is you see his blades kind of bend a little bit. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's Freddy's laugh.
You don't think it's Robert?
I don't think so.
It's not.
But I could be
Obviously,
wrong.
it's not Robert's hand.
No, it's Kane Hodder.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's definitely not Robert.
No.
But audiences were too stupid to know that back in the day.
No, it's 1993. I mean,
Yeah.
people were just like, oh my God, holy fuck. I mean, that's what they were. The movie. And then 10 years go by and there's nothing. And then finally we get it.
Yep, exactly. All right, Simpsons Treehouse of Terror 5 Halloween special, The Shinin.
And wait, pause it for a second.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, folks, and this again goes to show you how Freddy, again, becoming part of the pop culture zeitgeist in the ways that he did. 1994. Now, I guess you did have the release of New Nightmare that year. Okay, that's fair. But it had been 3 years since Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead was not, a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. So it's not like Freddy in 1994. And Wes Craven's New Nightmare has since, in retrospect, gained, a cult following. It's, more of an appreciation, but it wasn't a juggernaut in 1994 at all. I think because of the meta approach, it might have been a little too cerebral, even though it's not overly cerebral, but maybe a little too meta for some. And so in 1994, he's on a Simpsons episode, and it's not like he was hot at this moment. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't hot. I mean, this is in 1988. So that goes to show you the residual effects that trail, that heat trail was still carrying over years later.
Mm-hmm, for sure. All right, here we go. I wonder if it's going to hit on the Rick and Morty.
Dirty
probably.
cat. Yeah.
You stay here till you're no longer insane. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm just
Bitch.
pausing it so we don't fucking get
Sure,
copyright hit
tonight.
immediately.
It's Mo.
Look, some of the ghouls and I are a little concerned the project isn't moving forward.
Copyright.
Okay, there we go. Yep.
There he is.
What?
That was it. That was it.
No, hang on. I skipped too far ahead.
Oh, did you?
Oh, is this it? Oh, so he's just part of. Oh, okay.
Oh, there he is.
He literally just barely appears.
Ah, but you know what? I think I see Pinhead there as well.
Oh, I didn't actually.
I think I see Dracula and the Mummy, Freddy Krueger and Pinhead. Let's see.
I hit play, but it's not playing. Son of bitch!
Son of a bitch, huh?
It hung up. What? Screen sharing stopped. Yeah, well, I'm going to start it again right now. Don't you worry about that. I'm going to fix it.
Goddamn son of a bitch.
I'm going to fix it. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Yeah, we were at like, okay. No, we got that one. Okay. Let me go back to the screen share.
All right.
Share. Bam. I'm so sorry. Goddamn. I'm so sorry. That's too big. All right. Too big. There it is. Okay.
That's what she said. Good night, everybody.
Hey now. All right.
Oh wait. Oh. Okay.
Oh, here we go. That slows down itself.
So
okay.
the Mummy.
Yep. The Mummy, the Wolfman,
Dracula, Jason.
Yep. And Pinhead. You're up.
Jason, Pinhead, and Freddy.
Yep.
Oh,
nice.
Is there Michael Myers in there? No.
Why would there be? He's the walking wall. All right.
Well, this is but this is what I mean. People have to understand. It was, anyways. I don't want to go off at all. Anyways.
No, I agree.
Go ahead.
All right, Halloween special, Treehouse, Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. Oh yeah.
What a rare acquaintance.
So the interesting thing is he's wearing orange and black instead of green and red, but this was
Probably
closer
for
to
copyright, you think?
Yeah, probably, but it's also closer to the Nintendo game because we have a Nintendo-inspired pin for DNN, and it was orange instead of the red and greens. So.
There you go. There should be blood all over the bed.
It was only a dream.
Nice.
Is that you?
Yes.
Take out the garbage.
Take out the garbage.
Oh, lousy smart weather. Do not touch women.
Oh, it's Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Oh, little boiler room.
Well, look how often he appears. Right? I mean,
please help me. Willie,
Dang.
please.
Hey, hang on, I got to pause for copyright. Make sure we're not going to get
pretty.
shit. I didn't remember this. Dang, they did a whole origin.
As the floor.
You'll pay for
Jesus!
this with your children's blood.
Jeez.
All right, how you gonna get him? Skeleton power? I'll strike.
Where you
Look at the drippy. Oh no, that's fine. I thought his skin was.
Jesus, that's aggressive. I mean, the Treehouse of Horrors have always gone for it, as far as craziness, but that's pretty terrifying.
Don't you realize what this means?
Pretty terrifying.
The next time you fall asleep, we could die.
Okay. Scream horror movie. Creator of Freddy Krueger, Wes Craven appears as Freddy. This is true.
That we know.
Anyone
Yep,
that
that
might
we
not
know.
have realized what this was, it is pretty funny. It is worth pointing out.
Yeah. Fred the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. The Fonz.
Yep. Pause. We're not trying to represent Scream.
I was just gonna say you could have presented this clip, just the clip. You don't have to have any.
I know. I don't know why they decided to show the.
Yeah,
whole
I don't
lead
mean
up.
you. I mean the. Yeah, you don't need to.
Let me go back. Just to do the 10-second turnaround. There we go.
Devil shits.
You call me? Huh? Not your friend.
And for astute Elm Street fans, I mean, you know this obviously, but he was wearing the sweater from the first movie.
Yeah, it was red arms, right?
It was just there were no stripes on the arms.
Shits. You call me?
There it is. See?
Yep.
Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is so synonymous. I mean, that sweater is so iconic. It's his Superman cape. It's his Darth Vader. He's so iconic. And the sweaters after the first film obviously have the stripes on the arms, and that's how most people remember him. But there are still people out there that don't realize, oh shit! So in the first Elm Street movie, like the very first one, he didn't have. No, go watch the movie. It looks the whole film looks like this. And why they changed that for the sequel, I don't know. But yeah,
it definitely looked good. It's pretty iconic.
I like how he's honoring not just Freddy, because this would have been a intentional creative decision. I'm going to honor the character I created, but I'm not going to honor him in any of the sequels. I'm going to honor the inception.
Right.
And so seeing his sweater like this is an intention. It has to be an intentional creative choice to honor his movie.
And that I don't
there's no mistaking it.
Yeah, I don't know if I realized it was Wes himself for a long time. So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
All right,
That's cool.
continuing on.
Not your friend. You goddamn son of a bitch.
Prick. All right, Bride of Chucky, Freddy's glove. Yes, at the beginning of the movie in the evidence lockers, along with a bunch of other stuff. This was fun for me because this was like very early crossover shit. Because it was before Freddy vs. Jason.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh,
We got the chainsaw. We got Jason's mask. Although it's the very plastic fucking Spirit Halloween version.
It's the.
And then Michael Myers mask.
Oh, okay.
And
Michael
Freddy's
making an
glove.
appearance. Oh God, it's the awful mask, the awful Michael Myers mask we all had in the.
Not
90s.
only that, but it was the fucking the Halloween store fucking Freddy glove with the big thick ass blades. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
They had to do that. I mean,
did I fucking hang it up? There we go.
I saw it. We all saw it.
I want to make sure to give everyone a good look with the light on it. There we go. Caught the light. Yeah, see, it's definitely that old toy that had the big, thick-ass plastic blades and shit.
Yep.
But-
I had that Michael Myers mask.
I had that Freddy glove. So, all right.
There you go.
It's cool. All right, yeah, so that was always cool. That was very early crossover shit.
Very cool.
More Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Freddy and Jason intro. Okay, all right. I don't remember this. 1998. Yeah, they just came on.
They do. They hang on. Well, and pause it for a second.
Yes.
Was that Bride of Chucky one we just watched 1998?
I think Bride of Chucky was 97, but it might have been 98.
97. It might have been 98. So, because Halloween H2O was 98. And so Michael Myers mask being there might not, he's back into the mind of people. So maybe that's why Myers was there. I don't know.
Could be.
Anyway,
be. I mean, they did everyone else, so it probably just was at least homage to big slashers.
Could have been that.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Oh! Ran over Bart.
Oh, good Lord.
Go get it. They should be here by now.
What are you gonna do?
There's Jason's voice right there.
Yep,
Folks.
that's what he sounds like. Yep.
What are you gonna do?
All right, Freddy Krueger memes.
Memes.
Since
Now
the
we're-
internet began, Freddy has been the subject of countless memes across all social media platforms. Oh, wow.
Now,
We're
you're
diving
definitely
into the muck here.
Yep. The muck.
Let's see.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow, there's a lot. Pull my fingers. Okay, we can skip the memes. We can skip the memes. What is this? Freddy Krueger song by the band Reuben. All right.
2004.
Here we go. Come on. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
Reuben. Never heard of them.
I've never heard of them.
My name is Freddy Krueger.
That mustache.
I have the worst. That mustache gives the tape-on mustache at the end of Sleepaway Camp a run for its money.
Yes, it does. Holy shit. Okay, nope. Gonna skip you,
It's
buddy.
my kind of music, but
Oh, what is that? Okay, all right, here we go. Now we're getting into the
is this
crazy
like
stuff.
Robot Chicken or
Oh,
something?
Robot Chicken. Okay, big horror movie, brother.
Is it Robot Chicken?
Yeah, that's what it says. Robot Chicken.
Where? Oh, it does. Yeah, at the top.
Right at the top, the giant fucking letters.
The giant letters, McRae.
Okay, go on.
All right, hang on. What are we doing? Why does this fucking thing get so temperamental? All right, here we go. I skipped that for a reason.
Yep.
Big Brother House horror movie parody. Okay.
2005.
Season 1.
Ghostface's laundry debacle earned him the wrath of Freddy.
Oh, where the hell's my sweater?
Chill out. It's in the dryer.
You fool! The label clearly says permanent press.
Okay.
Competition was fierce, but it was Leatherface who stood victorious. As a result, it was Michael and Ghostface who found themselves on the block.
Ow.
Who will be evicted? Find out live tonight.
If Ghostface got voted out, take it from Freddy. That would be a dream come true. You get it? A dream? I kill people in their nightmares, man. That's what I do. It's my thing.
That sounds like Seth Green doing that.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. DC Comics, A Nightmare on Elm Street, a company who published the series is Wildstorm. Yes, is in fact a relationship imprint, a publishing imprint relationship of DC Comics. Chuck Dixon wrote the 8-issue series. Yes, I have also covered this on the Horror Show Cecil TikTok and the Horror Show Shorts channel if you're curious. But yeah, it was an entire 8-issue series. It was really cool. Lots of fun kills.
Great
Particularly a skateboarder that got killed was a lot of fun in this one.
You know, I have such an appreciation for artists that, I mean, just some of these, I'm just like, God damn, man. It's real talent, you know?
Yeah, the other Freddy comics are even cooler because they're like direct sequels. Like there was a Nightmares on Elm Street 6-issue comic series. And like there's two different, like there was a sequel to part 4. Or no, a sequel to part 5 and a sequel to part 3. Like they did a couple, and then issue number 6 is one of the most expensive comics I've ever purchased because it was such a low print run. It cost me $150 for just issue number 6.
Wow.
So anyway, let's see what this is. So Copycat, Tales of Horror one shot. Yes, I have this as well. It was a Freddy story and a Leatherface story, and then Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. They did 2 of these. They did Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash and then Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash Nightmare Warriors, not Dream Warriors.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that was a cool, they did a bunch of connected different
Very
covers.
stylized.
More Robot Chicken. All right, let's see what this looks like.
Right.
I'm going to take a look at the comments.
Freddy, why don't you wear that nice sweater Catherine got you for Father's Day?
What up, Davey?
I'm not really a sweater guy.
Oh, Pooh. She'll be so happy to see you wearing her gift.
But it's itchy.
Oh, did
And
Freddy ever
Daddy,
show up on
honey.
Celebrity
you know what I
Deathmatch?
got
That's a
you?
good
The
question.
school bazaar.
That's
Is
nice,
Robot
honey.
You know
Chicken
what
still
else,
on?
Daddy?
No, sweetie.
I think it might be,
you a
honestly.
hat.
Oh, that's great, darling. What is this made of? Pubes? I can't stop scratching this f***ing sweater.
Daddy doesn't like his gift.
It's like Kevin
I'm
Spacey.
sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Daddy loves his gifts. Fucking stupid school bazaar. Oh, Mary, that's the stuff. For the love of God, stop shopping at school. No more hats, no more sweaters, no more school bazaars.
Dude, this is leaning into the Freddy 6 stuff because he had the little daughter and everything. I had to pause it.
No more crappy gifts! Oh my God! That man is attacking our children! What? No, you've got it all wrong. It's the gifts that I hate. Child abuser!
Oh, no.
Oh no, the moms. The moms are coming after him.
So yeah, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash was fun because it was also a sequel to the movie series as well as being a sequel to the first series.
That's New Nightmare Freddy.
In this, they continued the idea that Jason was a Deadite.
Maybe not.
So
really?
Jason was raised by the Necronomicon. Jason is
Actually,
a
it's
Deadite
Freddy
in that
versus
series. Yeah. Stan Helsing horror parody comedy movie Freddy. I haven't watched Stan Helsing. I heard it's pretty fun. It's like 3 seasons, so I've been wanting to get back to it because the guy that played Dr. Cox is in it.
Courtesy flush, huh? Thank you.
I mean, yeah.
You think you could pass me a roll of toilet paper, please?
There you go.
Can you imagine?
Thank you very much.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Right in the rectal cavity.
What the
God.
fuck?
Imagine seeing that.
What the fuck?
Daylight, I'd really like to drop
Jeez.
off
What the
videos.
fuck?
Can we get some breakfast? I'm starving.
Oh, my ass.
Scary movie spoof or something.
So weird.
What the fuck?
The hell am I?
It's kind of funny.
Can you say bitch slap.
Okay. All right. That was dumb, but it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
All right. Family Guy, the poop joke. Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm a big Family Guy fan.
I love Family Guy, quite honestly. I haven't watched like the last few years, but I've got it on my list to catch up on.
Hey, Quagmire, you know you got Chris suspended from school for telling one of your dirty jokes.
Nice.
Oh, gosh, Peter, I'm sorry. You want me to talk to him?
Well, no, actually, I want you to tell me the joke.
So this chick meets a guy at a bar, and... P.S. Your vagina's in the sink.
What the okay.
Oh, God, I pooped my pants.
Wow, he poops every time he hears that joke.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Okay, Quagmire, he's asleep.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what does this have to do with Freddy?
When you poop in your dreams, you poop for real.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that. All right.
You know what? I'd be scared to shit in my dream. If I shat in my dream, I'd be like, oh my God, I probably just shat.
Yeah, you know what? I have to be careful because I developed a way to get out of my nightmares when I was a kid. And
I thought you were going to say, yeah, I got to be careful because when I shit in my dream.
But that would have been a good way to get out of my nightmares if I was scared. Because what happened was when like Jaws was coming at me, I would literally...
Oh my God!
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I would do is blink. I would blink really heavily,
Okay.
and by doing that in your dream, this is actually a hack.
So you could lucid dream.
No, well, yeah. Well, I would know
Like
it was a dream because I'm like,
knew
there's
you were
no
dreaming.
reason
Right.
I would be in the water with a shark coming at me in a prison, which is literally what like a dream.
Well-
It was a flooded prison with all the
Right.
cells open, and a shark was in there, and I was like having to. Fucking,
Okay, that's a movie right there.
I agree.
I mean, Prison
okay,
NATO.
Let me
No,
tell
I mean-
you. I have a movie idea called Shark Flood, where basically it's a coastal town that a hurricane causes a massive wave that actually floods the town, and a bunch of different sharks are now swimming around the town, and people have to escape the town without getting eaten
So
by
this
the
is
different sharks.
not
No, that's not a joke.
Sharknado thing.
No,
like
no.
It would be treated like seriously.
Treated
Like, this
seriously,
is actually
but like
right.
dumb title, you know.
That'd be pretty crazy.
So anyway, all right, Inception, South Park, Hello Freddy. Let's see, and Inception.
Yeah.
By the way, Shark Flood is an actual idea that I have. Yes, that is not bullshit.
Hello, Freddy.
Uh-oh.
Chin strap. What happened? You run out of stoolies to do your work?
All right, look, we're in a pickle again and we need your help. Got some people trapped inside a dream.
Protect it yourselves this time.
God.
Damn it, I'm not working for the military anymore, Krueger.
Then you should have no problem covering it up.
Some of those trapped are firemen, public servants, innocent in all of this.
All right, fine.
Mr. Mackey, you have to wake up now.
He can't.
I gotta pause it to make sure for copyright. I don't remember this at all, though. Apparently, Freddy is like your fucking Rambo being called back into service.
Get it? We're all gonna go to limbo.
Oh.
There's a real hoot for you, Woodsy.
You're waking
Okay.
up. They're coming too. Thanks, Freddy.
If only I could have saved the sheep herder.
I'd completely blocked it from my memory.
All right.
So he was horny because when he tried to throw things away, his subconscious would remember Woodsy's voice saying, "Give a hoot, don't pollute," and touching his penis with his wing. Wow, that is so complex and
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Oh, that's right. He was a DLC character in Mortal Kombat. But the thing is, as everyone will see, it was this version of Freddy.
Right.
Everyone's favorite, the remake version.
Oh, I see. Why does he have gloves on both hands?
I don't know. Wait, so they tried to do like hell mixed with the bed? Why is it blue? Oh, because the character has blue blood. Okay.
Oh.
You're right. He does have gloves on both hands. That's stupid.
You think it's a copyright thing?
I don't know.
isn't Freddy. This is.
It's no. I mean, it is
Freddy?
Freddy.
Freddy
Look,
Krueger?
Freddy Krueger wins.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Fatality.
I mean, I guess for Mortal Kombat, it
Fatality.
makes sense, but
Fatality.
I like the black and white version. They should have done Super Freddy.
Yeah, you like Super Freddy.
I
don't
love
you?
Super Freddy.
Weren't you gonna dress up as Super Freddy for Halloween or something?
I have the sweater. I have the black and white glove. I just need a grayscale version of the mask that I can
tore through Shao Kahn,
and a black hat.
The demonically enhanced weapons had been more than a match for the Emperor's dark magic.
I did
Though
not see
Freddy
this
had
ending.
saved Earthrealm, Nightwolf recognized him as an
Never saw it
evil
out,
spirit,
period.
and
Freddy
in a
saved
shamanistic
Earthrealm.
ritual sent him back to the dream realm.
So this is a Mortal Kombat video game from when?
It's like 2011, maybe.
Freddy did not resist.
It's got to be
He
shortly after the
welcomed
remake.
return to
Yeah.
immortality.
There's Nancy.
Oh, look at that.
Dream realm.
That's
Nancy,
cool.
Nancy.
They're doing the poster.
A nightmare in Earthrealm.
That's cool.
That's
Pretty
kind of
sure.
cool, actually. Oh,
Oh, that's
damn. Okay.
terrifying.
Nice.
That last shot was wicked.
That's neat. I've never seen that before. Hell yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Wait. What does this say?
A Wet Dream on Elm Street, X-rated Freddy Krueger pornographic parody.
All right. Definitely
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
this.
Are we gonna? Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, here we
I
go.
know, me too. Makes my skin all pruny.
Wait, those weren't knives on his fingers, were they?
And he made a lot of money.
What
he
were
made
they?
a
Were they
lot
like?
of money because he
Oh, I
overcharged.
see.
Yeah.
And you get some angry people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in Freddy's case, they got so angry that they set him on fire and burned him. Burned him from
These
the
guys in the
waist up.
background here are just so talented.
And he's in 3D.
She's A-list. I mean, she's just
Yeah, those aren't knives.
no.
Oh my god.
Why is he laughing?
We're educating.
Well, I know what I'm
everyone here
watching tonight.
today. Yeah. This is an educational stream, is what this is.
It is. It is.
Imagination
This is
Land. Oh, I forgot that Freddy appears.
We
in
are
this too.
free.
Oh,
Now all of Imagination Land is ours.
And Pinhead.
Not all, foolish orc. There are still parts of Imagination Land.
all right. Yeah, I don't think this is worth the copyright. that we're gonna get hit with. Yeah. Continue. Snarf. Tron. Jesus, everything's in this. Oh yeah. Okay. So, Scary
Hey.
Terry. This
That
definitely.
Freddy looks like he's like, hey, what's going on?
This is Scary Terry from Rick and Morty. Love Scary Terry.
Okay. Never seen Rick and Morty.
Oh, you haven't?
We're losing the battle.
Oh.
I mean, I know what
There
it
are
is. I
simply
just
too
don't know.
many of them.
So you haven't seen Scary Terry before?
No.
Oh my god. Okay. I love getting your reaction.
Kind of looks
to
like
this.
a South Park kind of vibe.
He's a bit of a Balchinian.
The animation.
Welcome to your nightmare, bitch.
Oh, here we go. Looks like some sort of legally safe knockoff of an 80s horror character with miniature swords for fingers instead of knives.
I'm Scary Terry. You can run, but you can't hide, bitch. Buckle up, bitch.
A lot of bitches. You got to get the bitches.
Sure says bitch a lot.
You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Hi, honey. You're home early. How was your day?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, of course. You never want to talk about it.
Get off my back, bitch.
Out there. Not in here.
Sorry, I gotta pause it.
This is great. No, this is good.
It's so
I'm
funny.
really liking this.
Dude, this episode of Rick and Morty is
funny.
hilarious.
He's got fucking balls hanging
Yeah,
from
he's
his
a
chin.
he's a Balchinian.
Right. Oh, excuse me.
No, this whole episode is funny because it's Inception. So like they have to go further and further into their dreams in order to get Scary Terry to help them resolve their issue. And it's really, really funny. So all right, let's see.
I know. Why don't you tell the whole class the proper wordplay to use when one is chasing one's victim through a pumpkin patch? Oh,
Sounds like Mark Hamill.
oh, come on, Terry. You can't think of a
not,
pun
but a little
involving
bit it was.
pumpkins, bitch.
So, the Merkins. The Merkins are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the Merkins are fun.
The Merkins do a bunch of music as slashers, and they're really, really great at it. They even have a
Shiny blades,
TikTok.
shiny blades.
It's really funny.
I showed up killing cause you was in your room. I showed up killing cause you chose to snooze.
This is the trailer for the new movie.
Yeah.
Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist.
All right. We'll definitely get hit with music stuff, so gotta keep going. Let's check in just real quick.
Freddy, the real dream killer. As I first off, fuck you, Jason, and Kent Crystal Lake and Springwood, Elm Street. That's a set I claim. You may carry a machete, but fuck your night. I lust for Elm Street is now they fuck for life.
I want to watch that whole video.
Yep.
A parody of Drake's diss track of Meek Mill. Okay.
Not again. Yeah, I learned the game from Wesley Craven. You can never face me. Back to back on Voorhees. You should have known I'm crazy. I got the wrists with me going back to back. Yeah, I'm gonna slash and slash. I got the wrists with me going back to back. Yeah, I'm gonna snatch your mask.
All right.
All right.
Ash versus Evil Dead. Okay, so once there's a full circle. Once again, Freddy's glove appears in the Evil Dead universe. This time, hanging in the cabin is Ash.
Freddy's glove to the left of the door. You notice that Freddy from Freddy Krueger's glove.
Yep.
That's a little homage.
Is that what that was?
That is.
Pause for a second.
Glove.
Yes. Again, no blades.
No blades, but it's. I don't like the yellow glove. Come on.
That's what they were. They were.
Yeah, but they were. But it needs to be weathered more. It needs to be weathered.
Yeah.
It's a little too yellow.
Well, I mean, technically, the silver, the back plate doesn't look super weathered either.
Nah, but.
Oh, more Merkins. Okay, so Slashing Bodies was a really good one. Yeah, we'll
Everybody.
Yeah, that's
Wait, Jason, you can sing? I didn't think you could talk, bitch.
Okay. Bloody Freddy Bone Tradiction by the Honorable C Note, a Freddy rap compilation album. Okay, definitely haven't heard of it.
Honorable C Note.
What the fuck? Why does he look like a Freddy version of Hulk Hogan?
Brother.
Bloody Freddy don't play around when you go to sleep.
Let me tell you something, Mean G.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Come on, brother.
Friday the 13th.
Did we miss any? No, I think that's good. All right, so
that was good. That was good.
Honestly,
that was a lot of that stuff I just have not seen at all.
No, me either. And that was one 40-minute compilation that we got into in 2.5 hours here.
Well, it was bound to happen with you and I talking.
I knew.
You were very gracious, and you gave me the floor at the beginning of the show to talk a bit about my film that I am working on. So I really appreciate that. And then we had, of course, our Terrifier discussion.
Yes.
In the middle of the stream, and that ate up about another 4 hours.
Well, I feel like maybe we should hold the rest for a sequel. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
A Freddy Declassified Part 2, so to speak.
I'm down for that.
We could do some of the behind-the-scenes interviews at that point, maybe some of the deleted scenes, but yeah, I had a feeling that going through these, we're gonna take a bit of time with you and me.
Well, yeah,
at the
and
helm.
even if we didn't have the discussion we did in the middle of the whole thing, we like to stop and start and talk and remember that, and we'd be talking anyway. You know what I mean? So
well, that's what
and
makes
it's fun. That's what you
makes
want to do.
Streams uniquely you and me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So all right, let me go to the comments real quick before we wrap this up for part 1.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We got Gangsta Freddy. We love the Merkins. Wow, that's the worst Merkins I've heard, says Robert. Poor Dave having to see these.
No, it's great. I love watching them.
Yeah, epic rap battles of history, Freddy versus Wolverine. Okay, Tyler, that might be kind of fun. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I have mixed feelings of Jacket Jason. I love this song. Epic rap battles was great. Oh, so that's a real thing. Freddy versus Wolverine, epic rap battles. Okay.
Epic rap
battles. Yeah.
That was, I mean, even if you're not a Backstreet Boys fan, if you were in college at that time, which I was, if you were in high school at that time, you knew girls that were going, everybody. I mean, it's so, and you know what? I gotta admit, it's actually not a bad song. It's actually not a bad song. The Backstreet Boys had some catchy tunes. From a beat rhythm perspective. But my God, yeah, they were all over the place. Everybody, yeah.
Davey calling us out, the ignoring of the chat at an epic level here. Like we get like freaking McRae and I can talk for hours without even looking at the chat. Like,
but ignoring, we weren't ignoring the chat. We were watching the videos. Yeah. I mean, that's if you and I were sitting here answering questions, then yeah, we'd be ignoring the chat.
Lord, it would take us 4 hours to get through a 35-minute video.
Exactly.
Not 2.5.
Exactly. It wasn't a Q&A.
But no, yeah, I don't think I missed any super chats or anything. So you want your chat read? You give us money. No, I'm just kidding.
You want your chat read? You give us money.
All right, so yeah,
Moolah, shekels, baby, shekels.
Oh, the dimes. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and call it there for Freddy Declassified Part 1. You saw there's a lot more to talk about. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me, Dave. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me on. I had a lot of fun. Looking forward to Part 2.
For anyone that's curious, we are still working on Dylan's New Nightmare 2 behind the scenes. We are due to have a meeting in July. The core 4, it'll be myself and Vin and Dave and Miko discussing exactly what the next steps should be, what kind of changes do I need to make to the first version of the script that I have that if a studio doesn't make, it's not going to get made, so I need to make some adjustments so it's something that we can make. We also need to find out exactly who is going to be involved. So all of these things are things that we are going to be discussing in that meeting, hopefully in July. So there is stuff moving behind the scenes on it. It's just taking some time because I'm working on some other stuff in the interim, as Dave is as well, clearly.
Correct. Clearly.
The house on Port Robinson Road. You got the house on Port Robinson Road.
Ooh, well, that's a little dramatic, but you're on. But you got the right rhythm. You got the right rhythm.
I got the rhythm. All right, well, I'll leave it to the professional.
But you see, but you see what I'm talking about. As soon as I showed you the poster, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting it. I'm feeling it.
Well, I mean, I could do the Dave version. That's I could just do the house on Port Robinson Road.
Well, no, you went up. You went up. It's more. You went up in your flexion. It's more. The house on Port Robinson Road.
There you go.
More kind of like you just kind of want to, the house on Port Robinson Road.
The amount of willpower it took for me to not end the stream before you actually delivered that. This is how you do it. Click.
Dude, you should have. I know. That would have been amazing. Davey Deathray sent in a $4.99 super chat and says, okay, here's your damn super chat. Love you guys.
And look at that. It got red.
It got red. And there's the shekels coming in. It's the shekels coming in.
You're really doing DNN 2, asked Joey. I mean,
well, the budget's ballooned, from 50,000 to 180 million. But that's
outside of that. No, I mean, but realistically, so just to clarify, the first version of DNN 2 is 180 pages long. That is a 3-hour movie if it were to be made as is. Not only that, but it is also the ideal version that would require a studio to make it. So there are some changes that need to be made. There are some adjustments, and we need to decide which way we want to go with the story, depending on who is actually going to be involved. So yes, DNN 2, I would love to happen, but it's going to necessitate, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. DNN 1 was 35 minutes, and it ended up costing, with perks and everything, over $100,000. So if we're going to do part 2 correctly and do the full-length conclusion that I would like to do, we'd likely have to raise like $300,000 to $400,000 to do it correctly, if not more. So you guys consider if you think that's possible, and that'll determine whether or not this is going to happen.
Well, and that's it. And I imagine that you're still looking to make it feature length. So
yeah, that's the point. Yeah,
you know,
I'm not going to do it, but it took us fucking 6 years, and the Blu-rays are coming June 20th. So we started in 2019, and June 20th, 2025 is when the Blu-rays are going to be delivered finally. So that does not make me want to break the rest up into parts.
No, and look, and you, and sorry, do you have to go, or are you? You're good? Okay. No, I just thought that was a good thing to say. Like I agree with you 100%. You know, it takes, you know, I've been asked to, are you going to do an It's Me Billy Chapter 3? And I'm like, no. I mean, it should be clear too when you watch Chapter 2 that it ends, you know, and you know, you want to doing these fan films are great, and they've been great, and they're and you know, we've been able to showcase what we can do in a sandbox that is popular on a limited budget. And when we say limited, we mean, you know, $100,000. Yeah. You know, which is, it's nothing in the world of movies, but it's still, you know, a lot of money. Yeah. And between It's Me Billy Chapter 1 and 2, they were 220,000 Canadian dollars, about 180,000 US. And so, you know, they've been great, right? You know, Dylan's New Nightmare and all that. But, you know, to your point, right? I mean, I started working on It's Me Billy Chapter 1 in 2019. And I'm just finally going to get Chapter 2's Blu-rays out in 2025. That's 6 years, 2 movies, right? And that's because you got to go through the crowdfunding, and you got to, when you're making real movies, like we've often said, yes, they're fan films and they're crowdfunded, but, you know, we're making real films with real production value. And so, you know, it takes a lot. And when you're not backed by a studio and you got to do all these things, you know, not with studio, you know, financing and help and resources and stuff, it takes a long time. And so it makes sense when you say, oh, look, I mean, I want to, you know, I thought about doing installments, but now I'm kind of like, guys, it take me like 4 years to do this one. I just want to do this. And you want to move on to original content now, right? You know what I mean? And like, I can't tell you how excited I am to be working on the house on Port Robinson Road, because it's new and it's original, and it's something I could seek, you know, distribution for, and you know, who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit for it, right? And so
same with Bracer.
Bracer,
my slasher Bracer.
Oh, right. Yes, you showed me a thing. But it's true, right? You know, and I know there was another one you were working on too that Miko was interested in.
Yes.
And so, you know, it's exciting to work on those things. And as much as we love doing the fan films, and they've obviously been great, you know, you can't make a living doing fan films, and something that
quite opposite actually.
Quite the opposite.
Guys, just as a quick little interjection, guys, we raised like $70,000 total across the 2 campaigns, and I'm not bullshitting when I say, when the perks and everything is all said and done, including shipment, it's going to have cost about $115,000. I raised 70, it's costing about 115. Guess where that extra is coming from?
Oh, it's coming out of pocket.
Yeah, that's coming from me. So like that, like this, yes, it's taken a really long time to deliver, but you know, we put everything into the film, and I'm making sure that I deliver on everything, because you guys deserve it, and
of course,
you made sure the movie happens. But that's also why you can see I'm not super eager to dive into a sequel if I can't cover everything.
No, and that's
like I can't come out of pocket another 40 grand. You know what I mean?
No, and it's not. You know, when you're, again, Bruce and I said too. I mean, you know, the amount of work that we put into, especially It's Me Billy Chapter 2, because it went from a non-union film. The first part was union, and then Chapter 2 was a full-scale union shoot. We were dealing with SAG-AFTRA, we were dealing with ACTRA. It was during the strike, so we had to get our interim agreement. We were dealing with Olivia Hussey, and you know, all these things that were happening. The amount of work, you know, when you're producing a legit film, you know, is crazy. And we didn't make a dime, literally nothing. The $150,000 we raised to produce the movie, Bruce and I walked away with literally nothing because we can't make anything from it. Legally we can't. And so, you know, if we're going to put that much effort again into another film and then some, we got to get paid. You know, we want to be able to get paid. We want to be able to be in a position where we can make money from the movie and do original stuff. So as much as the fan films have been great and we love them and they're high tier, high end, you know, professionally produced.
They're business cards.
Yeah, exactly. There, it's and we've done, as you've done something for Freddy, and Vince has done these things for, you know, Friday the 13th. We've done it for Black Christmas. You know, we can't live in that world indefinitely. You know, we have to be able to, you know, do original stuff so we can actually, you know, have a career. But it
is a fast path to recognition. Like we have to be able to show that we can do things at a high level, but like, yeah, we did this because obviously there's a built-in audience. It's a lot harder for us to come on the scene with original shit and get people to buy into us, you know, right out of the gate without proving our mettle, so to speak, on things that people are aware of and interested in.
That's it.
So yeah, we've proven, in my opinion, you, myself, and Vince, and some other fan filmmakers as well, have proven that we can, you know, write compelling stories within those worlds, and deliver on our visions of those things hopefully enough, to where people will want to contribute to our own visions. You know, going forward, right? That's the whole point. Again, DNN is $110,000 business card, and the film itself we spent $50,000 on. You know, the rest has been perks and promotion. So it's a $50,000 business card, but you know, that's again, this is all to say why it's not so easy to dive into DNN2 immediately. You know what I mean? Especially if it's going to be a full length.
If it's going to be you know, to your point, if it's going to be a feature length film, you know, 90 minutes, let's say, you know, and to do Freddy right, you know,
Freddy's inherently more expensive than Jason, Michael Myers, Billy, all of them.
100%. And listen, it's one thing to be in the makeup chair, the makeup chair for, you know, 3 or 4 days. It's another thing to be in the makeup chair for, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. And that's a different ball game. And so you're right. If you can't, if I can't do it with everything covered, I mean, it could be something that costs you $500,000. It could be $500,000,
very easily,
and very easily. And so, you know, yeah, if you can't do it, then there's no point in doing it half-ass, right? You know, you want to be able to take it to the next level. So no, I agree. You know, people have to understand that if we can't raise it, or if it's going to take us 3 years to raise, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I assume if it's going to take you 3 or 4 years to raise the money, you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe in that, I mean, I could be working on original stuff at that time.
But, you know, both of our original shit could be popping by then, you know?
100%. And so, you know, yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, these are things obviously that you've let me know, and I'm on board. I'm ready to step back into the role, and I would absolutely do it, but it's got to be done right. You know, and obviously in a feature length film, I'm going to have more screen time, which is great, but that also means, you know, there's, you know, more time in the makeup chair and more time away and you know, and because it'd probably be at least a 4-week shoot, 4 to 6 weeks, maybe, likely, depending on the complexity of the film and the set pieces and things like that. And so, you know, and everybody involved in the crew, and, you know, the size of the crew and you know, and all that. So yeah, it's that thing where it's like, you know, it could be $500,000. So if you guys show up, we'll do it.
Yeah. 100%.
But if you don't show up, probably not going to do it.
I mean, that's part of why I try. Yes, it was a cliffhanger, but it's still a complete story. Like, it's still a story that has a, you know, beginning, middle, and end. Davey Deathray coming through with another super chat. Yeah,
it could still be used as a pitch for the foundation for a series.
Yep. Davey Deathray with a $9.99 super chat. Original content is the way to go. You guys are both incredibly talented, and your voices need to be heard. Bracer is amazing, and I know Dave is cooking up the goods worth. the goods with Port Robinson Road. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Davey has seen a lot of the Bracer stuff, and Davey has also read the in the works script for the other popular franchise that I'm not allowed to announce. I actually went and had a long discussion, and we actually did an interview at Phoenix Comic-Con with my co-writer, David, and for this project, and we're both so excited about it. Like, the script is coming along so well. I just finished up.
This is for Bracer?
No. This is for we're writing a spec script for a cult favorite franchise. He is one of my co-writers on the Tremors comic book. So he and I decided to write a script for a popular franchise that I've done a pitch deck for. Robert the Wolfman. Shout out to Robert the Wolfman, because he's the Photoshop whiz. So he's helped.
Shout out to Robert the Wolfman. Oh.
Exactly. So he's helped me with both the Bracer pitch deck and the pitch deck for this project, and we're so excited because the script, this is my first script that I've written with a partner, and did you write Billy with Bruce, or did one of you write it and then you guys both directed it?
So I did the typing, and then I would send it to Bruce. And he would look at it at the 2 pages that I, sent or whatever. And so we would go back and forth that way. If he wasn't here, that's how I would do it. And then he would go over it, and he would tell me what he liked, what he didn't like, some suggestions for dialogue or, action lines or something. He'd send it back, and then I would look at it, and then I'd be like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. That does sound better. And I would add that in there. Or if it was something I didn't agree with, I'd let him know, oh, I'm not really sure. And so we'd go back and forth that way if he wasn't here. If he was here, we'd just sit here and work on it together. But it is a collaborative effort in terms of the writing as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because being the first time I've done this, we didn't know quite how to approach it. So originally I was just going to write the first draft, and then he was going to go in with his fine-tooth comb and add his stuff and everything. But I actually had a back and forth with an independent creator on Twitter by the name of Luke Barnett, who put out an amazing short. By the way, I want you to write this down, Dave, because I think you'd specifically appreciate this. He released a short on Twitter that's also on YouTube called The Crossing Over Express. I want you to watch this. It's a short film that got so much attention and was so retweeted, and it just got so much heat that he has just recently finished the full-length script for The Crossing Over Express as a feature, because it's really the long and short of it is it's about a man who learns about and goes to it's a very special sort of underground thing where it's just a semi truck where you go and you can have a conversation with a loved one that's dead, but under specific rules, very specific rules. And it's only like a 7-minute short, and it's so fucking amazing, and it hit for everyone so emotionally. And the only reason I bring it up is because I tremendously respect Luke, because he was able to put this together, and he's worked in Hollywood to a smaller degree. He's got a bunch of smaller supporting roles and everything, but he's I think someone to be admired in the independent film space. And so I had a discussion with him about he posted on a tweet about he's co-writing a script with someone. And I was like, hey, I'm doing the same thing for the first time. How do you do it? Does someone, and I said, I'm writing the first, we decided I'll write the first draft and everything. And he's just like, well, if you do that, then you've written the script and he's just making edits. He's like, the way we do it is we actually split it up. So what we ended up doing is I wrote Act 1, he wrote Act 2, Part 1, I wrote Act 2, Part 2, and he's writing Act 3. And because essentially Act 2 is 2 parts, because there's a midpoint, so Act 2 does have 2 sections. So realistically, films are 4 acts, not just 3, when you really boil it down. So it actually worked out, and it's been a really interesting thing. I wrote the first part, that was 32 pages, He went in and did his additions, got my section down to 27 pages, and his stuff got up to 52. So then I went in and I read from part one, from page one, the changes or little adjustments he made in my section. Then I read his section, which was really great. And then I went in and wrote from page 52 to page 84. So
that's
like
a cool way to do it.
It's interesting. And you just go back and you're building on each other. So I turned in like the big emotional moment, and he's like, "Oh, I love I love how you handled that scene." He's like, I want to make some adjustments. I love one of the ideas that you brought so much that I think we should weave it in throughout the whole script, including Act 1. So he's like going in and he's making those adjustments, and like, it's so cool when you find someone that you work well with, because like he made adjustments that I didn't immediately see needed to be made, but like this thing that we're building together is so much stronger than what I could have possibly built on my own. It's so interesting, this approach, and it's so rewarding.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I love it, and I think it's going to resonate, because I was talking to him, like I said, today at Phoenix Comic Con, and we were both just in agreement. We're like I know we're the writers, but we're also, reasonable degree of unreasonability. I've said that numerous times on the channel. I love that. It's one of the things I got from Kevin Smith, and so we both are like, if the people in control of the rights are willing to read this, I guarantee it's going to be a go. Like, there's no way they couldn't move forward with it. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to be willing to read it based on rights ownership and all that shit.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it's a really long way to discuss. It's my first experience with a co-writer, and I was curious how it related to your experience writing with Bruce.
Like I said, I'd send it to him, the pages, and then he'd send me back with the adjustments he's made, and he would let me know what those adjustments are. And then when he would come over, we'd sit here together and we'd actually write together. I would do the physical typing, but he would be like, how about, we do this, or how about we do that? And well, that's a great idea, and I'll write that down. So yes, I might've been doing the physical typing when he's here, but he's still co-writing with me. Right. Yeah. And so that's how it was just the easiest way for us to do it, because obviously I do most of my work from home. I don't have a traditional, 9-to-5 job, whereas he does. He works in, the industry, but he has that 9-to-5-er. So it's easier for me during the day to do that, and then talk to him in the evenings of what I've done, and he can come back with, revisions, from his end and things like that. So it's just the easiest thing to do. Since, we're tooting our own horns, I'll just share this. I'll share this. So I sent this is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I sent the first page of the house on Port Robinson Road to an industry friend here, based in Toronto, and I sent it to him. I just said, just read this, tell me what you think, and I will share the. Do I have ability to share again? Oh yeah, I do. I will share what he said. Okay. This is what he said. All right, here we go. Let me know when you can see it.
Double click to enter full screen. Okay. Yep, got it.
There. He says, "Hey Dave, brutal, visceral, and masterfully sets the tone for what's to come. The intensity is shocking, pure dread, delivered with precision and anchored by one unforgettable image. The audience won't know exactly what they've seen, but they'll feel it. Don't change a thing, Dave. It's cinematic and searing. If the rest of the script is even half as strong as this opening, it's going to be something special." Nice.
Heck yeah.
Which was really, he's worked in the industry a long time. I trust him, and I felt good about the first page. I mean, I feel fantastic about the whole thing, but I just didn't. I just wanted to, get his thoughts on this opening, and that's what he sent back to me. And if he didn't like it, and if he thought it needed improving, he would tell me. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So it was just one page, so it's the first minute of the movie.
Well, okay. So, yes, there's the golden rule of a minute a page, right?
When you're going for mood and atmosphere, though, one page can equal 2
one
to
page
3.
could be 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Your kind of movies for sure.
Yes, let's not forget that It's Me, Billy, chapter 1 and 2 were 40-minute movies and 22-page scripts. So, you have to keep that. Again, it's not a hard and fast rule, right? It all depends on how much action you have on a page, and action I mean in terms of just the action lines, not boom boom bang bang. And so, yes, I wouldn't say the first page is a minute. But it's probably a few minutes probably, but yeah, it was great to hear that, and I haven't posted that on social media anywhere, so that's an exclusive first of somebody who's an industry professional working here in Toronto who just read the first page, and I've since sent him the script because this is like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've since sent him the script, and I've sent it to a few people who are reading it, and but so hopefully he does like the rest of the script.
Nice, yeah. I mean, that'd be nice.
But it'd be nice. He comes back and goes, yeah, that thing I said a couple of weeks ago. The script is not that great. But no, it's great to be able to. I'm sure it feels good to be able to work on this, with your friend, and to be able to work on, Bracer, and it feels like, because that. When you work on fan films, they're fun and they're great. And the amount of hard work that we've put into them, I like to call them, because they're not just fan films, you know what I mean? Yeah. I like to call them fan and tribute films.
Yeah.
And because I think they're sort of like fan films on, roids. Mm-hmm. And so, and I,
steroids, not hemorrhoids.
Not hemorrhoids, although there might be a few in there.
Some fan films, definitely hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Some fan films have goiters around the anus. No, but
not naming names.
No. Look. You do what you do. You can do what you do. But I will say that it's and they're fun to work in, and to your point, they become professional calling cards to showcase what you can do on a limited budget, right? Like we've often said, but there's a ceiling for how much you can do, how much you can promote, how much you can spend, how much you don't want to poke the bear too much. You know what I mean? Okay. We're poking the bear by them just existing, but you don't want to get overconfident. You don't want to, and it's so great to be working on original IP because now the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And it just feels good to be able to not have to worry about, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't do this, because you don't want to go too far, but yeah, just, I agree with what you said.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I think we should call it there. Let me make sure we're not missing any other super chats or any shade from Davey Deathray. Let's see here. No, it looks like we're caught up here. So I'm going to review all these comments later. So thank you guys very much for contributing and everything. I think this is something that we'll definitely have to do a sequel of. And I still,
yeah, for sure. I'm down.
not, you know what? I'm going to talk to you about this after the stream. I'm not going to put you on,
all right.
on the I'll put you on the spot on the stream, although I'd love to do it.
Well, it depends on what it is. I mean, you want to see me naked? That's going to be after.
Yeah.
You know
No. Well, I would like to revisit the idea of a possible ongoing thing between you and I.
Right. Yes.
Because I know you were deep in with I know you were deep in with Billy when I last approached you and stuff. So I still think you and I have enough of a.
It'd be fun. It would be fun.
You know what I'm
It's
saying.
just about
timing. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
But at the very least, I think this is a good trial run, and we can do another sequel, more declassification for Freddy Krueger. But thank you guys very much for watching.
Davey Deathray just sent in one last one.
Yes.
$4.99. He said, fan films are like cover songs. Get your foot in the door so you can show your true talents. I believe in your guys' sensibilities. Thank you, Davey.
Thank you, Davey.
That.
Much appreciated. Yes. I had something, but I'll do a whole video about it separately. There was something I wanted to pull up and show everyone, and now I'm blanking on it.
Is it that nude picture I sent you?
Yep, that was the one.
There you go.
No. Fuck, what was I gonna say?
I love how you just roll with it.
Yeah, I know. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and so now I'm just trying to learn how to cope with it and not let ideas fly away as soon as they're done. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Well,
Oh, it's a good one. I mean,
Look, what can I say? Big things stay in my mind. Little things, not so much.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Can you imagine? No, you just send me a dick pic.
Yeah.
So you got no. We're not. No. It's just I just admire this.
Now I remember. Okay, so there is one thing I wanted to ask you about. So Davey Deathray, speaking of, was here when I made the official announcement on the channel.
Okay.
So there's something that I'm going to start. There's a new show that I'm going to start on the channel that I'm calling, where basically, because I do so much writing, I wanted to do a stream where I do a writing stream with people. I wanted to try and show people kind of how it can be done. So originally I wanted to do do you know what Lo-Fi Girl is? Have you heard of Lo-Fi Girl?
I have not.
So Lo-Fi Girl is a constant stream on YouTube where it's just an animated girl at her computer doing homework, and she has her cat next to her on the windowsill, and the tail twitches, and she there's no talking or anything. It's just lo-fi music while she's studying, and you're supposed to do work and study while listening to the music.
Is she really? Is this a real
I'll show you.
person, or is she animated?
No, she's animated. She's animated, but I'll literally show you because I can share the screen. So let me pull up Lo-Fi Girl, and that way I can show you.
Lo-Fi Girl.
Well, it's
is
really,
there a real? Okay.
It's a cool thing that a lot of people are sort of emulating now. But all right, so I've got her pulled up. I won't play the music because we'll be copyright. But so this is Lo-Fi Girl, right here.
All right.
So it's literally just her and just some lo-fi music, right? And you're just intended to just kind of chill with her. Right.
Okay.
So you do your work while she's doing hers, and so I wanted to do, since I'm doing so much writing, I wanted to do something similar, but horror writing. So I actually contacted Ed from the the band that I love so much that has been doing Halloween horror music for so many years, Midnight Syndicate. If you went to Spirit Halloween and you saw CDs with horror music on it, that was Midnight Syndicate. So they do dialogueless, wordless music, all in the horror genre. So I reached out to Ed. I was like, hey, would you want to do maybe a playlist of music to write horror to? Because he gave me permission to play their music without getting hit with copyright on our channel. Cool. So we can listen to horror themed music while I'm doing my writing. And essentially this would be on Twitch. And I wanted to do a version on YouTube where it's an ongoing series where the first episode would be, oh, by the way, I call the series, let me stop sharing this and I'll pull up the actual advertisement sort of notification, which I showed in my last stream. That is this one here. So I'm going to call it The Night Rider.
Okay. Oh, The Night Rider.
Right.
I like it.
Right. And so it'd be something like this, episode 1 will be brainstorming. And so I will just sit down with the audience and we'll brainstorm a horror idea together. And
That's cool.
So every episode, whether it be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, we will continue the process. So in the first episode, we'll brainstorm, and us with the audience, or myself with the audience, will decide on an idea. And then episode 2 will be outlining the overall idea, right? And then episode 3 will be starting to script the overall idea. And essentially, as we continue it, and I'm scripting, I will pull up and people will be able to see the window as I'm writing and everything. And then people can put in dialogue ideas and story ideas. And if I use them, I will add them to the ongoing list of contributors in the description box and everything.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
And by whether we were trying to decide whether we want to make a full-length feature or just a series of shorts that maybe by the end of the quote-unquote season, we decide on one to try and actually push forward and maybe make on the channel, that kind of thing.
Shorts are probably easier,
right?
Well, obviously they're easier by virtue of being shorter, potentially. But I mean, a feature would be cool if you're doing it over the course of a year,
right,
or something like that.
Just to show people the whole process for an actual feature-length script, that kind of thing.
Right. Which would open a lot of eyes, when you realize that you might start with a first draft that ends up being 140 pages, and then you got to get that down to something in between, 90 and 120 or whatever. And
right.
And so, yeah, I mean, but that's a process over, and that depends on how many shows you're going to have, right? Like if you're only going to have one show a month, then that's only 12 shows. Is that enough time to do all that?
Right.
Shorts might be easier, and the payoff is met quicker, so it keeps people's attentions. Like you could do one short a month, you know, and it doesn't have to be like a 30-page script. It could be like a 10-page script. It could be like a lights out, you know what I mean? It could be like little horror shorts like that, and you could bang off one of those, like one a month. Probably.
Well, and I also thought, wouldn't it be fun if by the end, if we did one a month, I could collect them all into an anthology, like a printed anthology, sort of like Stephen King did Storm of the Century. It would be script format, but it would be an anthology, and everyone's stories would be represented in the anthology. And we could, it would just be one of the, because I've been wanting to do a series of anthologies called The Horror Show Presents. So it'd be like The Horror Show Presents Creatures, or The Horror Show Presents Slashers, you know, and just have themes along that line. But yeah, so that was an idea, and the reason I bring it up is because Davey suggested maybe bringing in a guest from YouTube for each episode, and so I was wondering if you might be interested in joining for an episode.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Fuck off. All right, let's end this stream right now.
No. Yeah, of course. I mean, if I can be of any help, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
That just might be. Yeah, I mean, you're creative like me. You're an idea generator like me. So I think it might be a good time.
I think it'd be. I'm totally down. Totally down. I think it'd be fun.
Well, I think we've utilized enough of people's time. We'll go ahead, and I've taken up enough of yours. Thank you for being so generous with it. Thank you for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Looking forward to part 2.
Indeed. All right. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird, and I've been joined by the amazing Dave McRae.
Thank you very much. And as they say here on the Horror Channel, stay scared.
Hang on. I got to get back to the right window to end it. Oh, God. I'm so slow.
Stay scared.
I'm so slow.